see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body.
I think we are good. Are we still here?
Hold on.
Yep, still
Okay.
here.
All right, I'm making
Can still hear you.
I'm making some fine adjustments to my
All
new.
right. So Rob, real quick, while he's doing adjustments, you see, this is the box he came in. So this and
That's
the
amazing.
Viper, the Viper 3-pack that I got. Those guys, those are my first non-clamshell figures that I got.
No window.
Yeah, no window.
Just
But
trapped
this is
in
all
the
the
cardboard.
shit he comes with. You see all that shit?
That's a lot.
Yep.
I think because
Wow,
they wanted to
man.
make sure they were better than Valaverse.
Oh well.
So they're
the
just like,
sculpt of
fuck
the
'em all.
figure was better than Valaverse.
Yeah. He doesn't have his
The
jacket.
Valaverse one looks like Mr. fucking Magoo.
He doesn't have his jacket.
But look, this is the cardboard thing I was talking about. Looks like a Foot Locker with like his name on it and stuff.
Mm.
This is what all his accessories came in. But
Okay.
the thing that I thought was, it's the dumb shit that tickles my fancy. But when you opened it up, like all his head sculpt and his hands were actually in this, like the birthday paper that you put in like the birthday bags. But it's got Cobra and G.I. Joe logos all over it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could probably make the figure ever so slightly cheaper by not printing that super fancy paper.
I mean, you need cheaper than retail? I don't give a fuck.
I mean, how much less or how much more could they probably just eliminate from it to just shave that $5 extra they've added on in the last 6 months?
But then
Right.
it came in this. It just came in this tied with these little paper
Little
string
hemp.
It's
things.
basically a shoebox.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a shoebox. It's bullshit. I know.
But
I'm
this
waiting on my
box looks
first
nice
figures,
enough. I'm gonna keep it. Like I've been tossing all my boxes, but I like the artwork on this one,
so to speak.
and I'll give them that. Even the artwork on this one, the Viper one, is actually really fucking cool.
Viper
It
box.
is, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a big fucking box.
See, realistically, and by the way, we've been recording. So the
Okay,
boxes
whatever.
that Ricky is showing is the G.I. Joe classified line boxes, and these are the first run that really have no window to them. Where Hasbro says we're gonna get away from using plastics, right? Okay, so one thing I was just bringing up is that it gives them a chance to really let the box art fly.
Yeah. Like this one, if you look at the Slaughter one, they actually have pieces from the comics in it, pieces from the show in it. Like it looks
actual wrestling,
really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a definite love letter to the character for sure. They're doing the right thing.
You know what would be
Look at the
fun?
side of
I
it.
got the Snake Eyes. I got the Snake Eyes set with the white timber. It is phenomenal.
White
Like,
timber.
look at this. You see the side of the box?
Yes, we see his face.
Oh yeah.
So you need
Like I don't know. Like companies have been stepping up their packaging recently. Like I got the
everybody
call
got that. Yep.
steel jaw in, but
And it
have you-
looks
have
like
you-
Blaster's chest. And
Yeah, but
flips
it opens
open.
up,
Yep.
and then
Like
it's
a cassette
magnetic.
deck. That's cool.
But it's magnetic. It closes up magnetic.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really
I mean, I mostly just need my boxes to open and close proper.
yeah. And
So-
you know the messed up part is I didn't realize that this was like an EX version with like the gold and silver on it.
Mm.
Because I got it, like my boy Derek hooked me up, like he was up there and he remembered that I had talked about it because I'm all in on these MMC tapes.
Mm.
And he hit me up while he was there and he's like, "Hey, you want it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So he snatched it up for me and mailed it to me. And it wasn't until after I got it I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the fancy one." So now it's fancier than all the other MMC tapes that I have because none of them have any of the back metalized metal or fancy paint on it.
Well, aren't the other ones all Decepticons though? He's the first Autobot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
your differential. So you just have to buy all of the fancy Autobots to that way they work together.
No, because Soundwave's superior. I'm not gonna have fancy fucking blaster tapes against trashy fucking.
I mean, I know he
Soundwave
said
tapes.
it one time, but that's just propaganda.
No, it's fact until proven differently.
Is it? You say something.
but
You say something often enough, people believe it, right?
Yep, almost like the interwebs.
Yeah.
So.
Soundwave was just the earliest version of Alex Jones. Either way.
Oh God, no! Don't you dare, you piece of shit! Take it back right now.
Nope, I'm good. All right. So, welcome back to episode 31 of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, which is funny because I'm still literally in the middle of editing episode 30. So that's where I left off this morning because last night my computer didn't feel like cooperating in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, oh, did you want to open that editing software? Oh, that's cute.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, it literally just sat on the opening screen, and when it's there, it doesn't register as actually being open, so I can't task manager it away. it just sits there. So I had to do a whole restart and everything just to fucking get it to work. And then like I just gave up at like 8:45. I'm like, I'm not gonna get anything done tonight if I just get to this point. And just said screw it and moved on and just went in the living room and watched YouTube with the wifey until we went to bed. So, dumb shit like that. So, guys, I have news. I am officially too fat to technically drive for work in a way.
Well, I mean, too fat on their scale.
On their scale, in a very little
Pun
sense.
intended.
Yes. So I had to go for my yearly physical, which everybody else gets to do, 2 years on their physicals. But because I have to take blood pressure medication, I have to go every year. And because apparently Texas DOT is now cracking down on sleep apnea, if you're over a certain percentage of BMI, they will only give you a provisional 3-month license until you prove that you don't have sleep apnea, or if you do have sleep apnea, that you are using a CPAP and for using it proper over a certain amount of time, which is ridiculous. Like, I get it, but it's also ridiculous because their BMI calculation is just the basic one of height to weight ratio with a visual inspection of you.
Well, you and I were talking about this before, and they did mine for work and surgery years ago. And what they told me, my ideal weight is 187 pounds. Now that sounds like a good number to some people, but you all have to take into account I'm 6'4". I've shown Shoki like on video, like, because you can tell I'm a big guy, but like I showed him on video, I can grip a basketball. And when I wrap my fingers around my wrist, my middle finger and my thumb, they don't touch. I am big boned. I'm just a big dude. And I told them 187 pounds, I'd look like stretched parchment paper over bones. You could not put that on my body and say I look all right. But yeah. So their indexes are weird and wonky, and it's based off of an average. So there are those outliers. Like I would be in the outlier department because I'm big boned and tall, so that puts me a little bit further outside the normal range.
Yeah.
But even still, they're crazy with those numbers.
They're like, you should be a college basketball player.
That's what they want me to look like. And I'm like, yeah, but unfortunately, I have the bones of a football player. You know what I mean? So they're crazy.
So you just reminded me of something. I had a friend named Cameron for a long time. Haven't seen him in a real I think I haven't seen him in longer than I did see him. If that makes sense. But he was always very much overweight. Like even when we were young, when I first met him, he was 16. He was like ginormous, right? Mm-hmm. So I gave him the nickname Fat. So I just say, "Hey, Fat," every time I just walked in a room or whatever.
Nice, Shoki.
Yeah, but then I'm not small either, so it is what it is.
Punching you in the asshole.
Well, here's the funny part. Well, here's the thing about it. He chose to drive the smallest available cars as well.
So he had like a little clown car.
He's always so. The thing is, like, he did lose weight. Him and his brother both lost a bit of weight after they had a horrendous car accident in their Geo Tracker. When I'm saying,
right there with you.
Yeah. So, tiny, big guy in a tiny car, and he wanted a Honda Fit as his next car. So he wanted the smallest tiny thing. However, there's one time he used to make the Cartman joke, "I'm not fat, I'm big bone," in the voice. And I said, well, how many fucking bones do you have?
Weight gain 3,000.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not fat, I'm just bang. I'm just big bang. And I'm like, well, how many fucking bones do you have? I mean, look at your chair. It's like it's only got 3 legs because the other one merged in.
That's fucked up. But so I used to work at Lockheed, and they used to always make us do our physicals. Like we had to do them yearly because of our insurance and stuff. And they had this thing that you would stand on. It had like all these little metal circles on it. You'd stand on it, and it would do measurements of your body. And one of them they do is bone density and bone weight. And for a male at my height and my age at the time, my skeletal structure should have weighed anywhere from 8.5 to 9 pounds. Mine weighed in at 11.4.
Dense fucking skeleton.
Yeah, a fucking hard-headed motherfucker. It even came in on the scale.
Iron. I have iron and calcium for days. They will be mining my bones in the future for minerals.
Steak and milk. That's all I do in this house.
Steak and milk.
Steak and milk. That's it.
I was like, I don't eat a lot of carrots, so I can't see for shit at night. But if I can run into anything, it's fine.
Yeah,
I won't
just truck over it.
Just truck right over it.
But I just always thought that's funny. And then I'm like, and you guys want 187 pounds. Y'all need to stop smoking crack. Doctors on crack is weird.
I mean, I would love to get back down to about 235. I felt really comfortable at that, you know.
That's where I want to get back down to. That was my high school football days.
Yeah, because I'm broad shoulders and everything else like that. And even at that weight, I wouldn't consider myself fat, you know. Like,
no, the doctors would.
No, I know, but I'm saying, well, actually, no. That's the thing, because right now
they would consider you obese, not morbidly obese.
Yeah, okay, that might be true, but like I wouldn't see myself as fat. Like now, I can see how fat I am, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
and by no means, or by all means, this is as big as I've ever been. So you know, just so we know, you know, it's out there now. I'm too fat to work.
Yeah, too fat to work.
But I love that they can
on Social Security.
Yeah, but I love that they can demand. One, you got to go pay out of pocket for a sleep study. Two, if you get a fucking CPAP, which those things ain't cheap, and most insurances will cover them to a degree.
And who can sleep with something on their fucking face?
Yeah, well, a lot of people can, and actually it helps them
I know,
sleep.
but I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen them, and I tried. I don't have sleep apnea, but I just wanted to see how it would feel and like if it would make any difference just with the extra oxygen. And dude, I couldn't, dude. I would sleep for like 10 minutes, and it would shift. Or I'd roll and it would shift, and I'm like, "Fuck that! I'm out." Like I felt like somebody was touching my face all night. I couldn't do it.
Quit it.
So I will preface this by saying, like, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea in my mid 20s, and so I basically got prescribed for CPAP.
And you're not a big guy.
And well, here's the thing: like, I didn't really know that I had it until my wife had told me, and this was when we were first dating, and she's like, how much do you actually feel rested in the mornings? She's like, you really snore loud. And so I went to the doctor and, you know, had a sleep study, the whole 9 yards, and they were like, you definitely have sleep apnea. You're getting like 30% of your oxygen during the night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not great. That explains a whole lot. And once I actually switched to it, like it was hard to get adjusted to it initially, but like once we got it like just right, it's been great. Like for ever since then, I rest better. I feel better. I honestly find that it's hard to sleep without it. And what I also noticed was that my dad, when he was still alive, he also would snore like a freight train in an elevator. I honestly feel like
train in an elevator.
But snoring doesn't mean you have a sleep apnea.
But it does if you stop breathing, if you're tossing and turning to the point where you cannot, you wake up and you're waking up, even if you don't remember waking up.
Yeah, right. You can wake up 60, 70, 80 times. But it's like it's for a brief second, and it's just long enough that you're wasting all of your energy falling asleep and waking up, falling asleep, waking up, but you're never
properly reaching REM sleep. Yes. Yeah. And so honestly, like if you're waking up and you feel like you have still not gotten enough sleep, like, and it's constant, that might be a sign that, you know, and to be honest, I hate to say it, the easiest way to find out is to basically set up and record yourself overnight.
I mean, you don't even have to go that far. Nowadays, you can just wear a smartwatch. Like I have a smartwatch that tells you your light sleep, your
light sleep, right? Exactly.
And all that.
That's
stuff.
a good way to find out too.
Exactly. So
and that's what I was trying to get at is most people hear sleep apnea, they're like, oh, he's fat. Rob's not really a big dude.
No,
he's not.
No, I'm not. Granted, I've gone down in weight a lot, but I still have the sleep apnea.
Yeah,
I'm at what I consider my ideal weight.
It's a developmental thing. Like your body just developed that way. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're fat.
You could have sinus issues. You could have lung issues.
So on that note, real quick, because Jessica has sleep apnea, like bad, and she does have an APAP. you know, so it's not exactly the same, but they do the same thing.
That's just the one that goes in the nostrils, right?
Mine's a bi.
Okay.
Mine is a BiPAP. Yeah.
Yeah. So with hers, she doesn't have the just the nasal thing. She's got the whole mouth cover and all that kind of stuff because she's got a really bad deviated septum. So like it's most of it's going through her mouth, not through her nose. But she also breathes through her mouth all night, so it wouldn't do her any good. Also, but
Are you calling your wife a mouth breather?
at
Dude,
night she definitely is. But either way, like so I pointed it out to her until the point that I forced her because she worked for a fucking sleep clinic. It's like you can get the fucking equipment. Like it cost her nothing to do the sleep study, and the CPAP cost her or the APAP cost her nothing. So, the thing is with her, yes, she absolutely has sleep apnea because I've heard her literally stop breathing for up to like 30, 40 seconds until I'll like shake her to try to kickstart it, and then she'll wake up and she'll wonder why I woke her up. I was like, you quit fucking breathing, that's why.
I just saved your life. Call me David Hasselhoff, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Where's the theme music? I'll be there.
That'd be awesome if you did that every time you woke her up. You just hit play and had that going.
Well, I hit her in the head with the red buoy thing, and then I saved your life. And then walk away with the jacket, flipping the jacket.
Have her wake up and you're just wearing a red Speedo, smiling at her.
And she's like, "Why is all this sand in here?" I was like, "I'm just living the dream, baby. Just living the dream. Don't worry, young Jason Momoa will walk in any minute."
Slow motion run into the room.
By the way, that was a Baywatch Nights reference.
Oh man.
So, but like for me, like I do snore, but it's kind of rare. But I can tell, like to me, like I've had adenoid issues too. So I think that's actually more of my problem. So my sinuses get inflamed or stuffy, I'll snore, and I'll almost always snore only on my back. You know, so like the other night she actually woke me up because I was snoring. But half the time I wake myself up snoring, not because of the sound, like you know a lot of people do. It's actually the sensation in my throat. It was like, fuck, like you know, it's annoying me, and I wake up. I was like, but I never stop breathing. That's one thing she tells me. It's like, I listen to you snore if I wake up. And of course she woke up because of her fucking apnea. Because she has not been wearing her mask at all for like a month or so. But like, it's annoying that I have to go through all this fucking rigmarole and it's just getting worse and worse. It's like, it's already limited because of my blood pressure. It's like, it's a genetic fucking thing. I can't help it. I've always had high blood pressure. It's like, and then they lower the standards. So, like, okay, so now I can never not be on blood pressure meds. Or, well, I guess if I get healthy enough, in theory, I could.
Or you could just stop taking them.
In theory, but really not in theory, because also, same here.
Yeah.
So, my hypertension is also genetic. Follows along the line of both my father and my mother's side.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
am I ever going to be off of it? No. In fact, what's worse is that recently... they've changed because I need to go donate blood because I have basically too much iron. I have hemochromatosis.
Wow.
It is
you're just a house
too much
patient.
iron in your blood.
Yeah. You have the opposite of anemia.
The opposite of anemia. The way opposite of anemia. And
he sets off metal detectors.
Yeah. It also means he
basically,
shits bricks, literally.
I am Magneto.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. I go to donate, but the problem is that all the services all have upped their requirements for pulse, and they've decreased it. So in other words, if your pulse is too high but your blood pressure is okay, they still won't take you. So now I've had to reach out to my doctor and find out about what to do to get it on my record so that I can then go in as a therapeutic to donate blood because it's a necessity.
You're donating literally just to get it out of you because you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Not because you're
and
feeling...
my father was the same way. His legs actually would have spots on them because there's so much iron.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's like the liver spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it's full of iron. So really you just need like an extra liver to like just help try to sort it all out. Like a second.
But I have the same problem.
You know what?
I get it.
Say,
like,
I think it's I just made a joke like in our private chat. I just put hashtag I am Magneto. But ironically enough, Actually, I think it should be hashtag I am Wolverine because you're full of metal. So it'd be the opposite.
So
of
no,
Magneto.
he would be killed by Magneto if he was his guard.
Yeah,
in the
pretty
cell.
much. Yeah.
You are
Oh,
I am adamantium.
Little too much iron in your blood. And then Rob just like gets
I
shredded.
could also go with Iron Man, but you choose your.
Yeah,
you choose
Yeah.
I am Iron Man. Nice.
Yeah. I think you could identify as female.
Oh. Womp womp.
Ouch.
Come on.
No,
Periodic table.
is iron. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
dude.
I got it. We get it.
We're not the dummies. We're here.
Come on, it was fun. That was funny. To a degree. Either way.
It was one of those things.
I totally get it. So like
written,
what's
it would work.
Look,
what's the solve here for your problem, Shoki?
For me? Well, I'm already gonna try. I'm already gonna work because I have 3 months to get the sleep study.
He's gonna make Sean fix them.
Shit. So I am gonna start. I'm gonna get back to working out, and we're already working on eating better. You know, lowering our portions and trying to cut out as much garbage as we can. So that's not a problem. But because that's not my actual problem, but it would get my BMI down to where they won't force me to do this nonsense. Because I actually dealt with this a couple years ago, where I was 41%. So I worked out really hard.
Jesus.
I worked out really hard that week and came back, did it again, and I got it down below.
So what's the negative connotation if you don't do? You just have to redo your license every few months?
I think that if see, the problem is if I do have sleep apnea and I have to get on a CPAP, then they will monitor it to make sure I'm using it. And if I don't, they'll take my license away. And I don't mean my driver.
Which is actually fine. You can get it saves to the new one saved to an SD card or a micro SD, and it'll actually you actually just send that and it takes all the metrics.
Well,
they probably got new ones that are Bluetooth and just
that's what I'm thinking.
No,
too,
Jessica's. We don't understand how it works, but it must have its own built-in cell signal because it automatically updates all her stuff when she does use it. It updates it to the cloud, and then she can see it, and it goes to her doctor. She's literally not had to do anything.
It's a Wi-Fi unit. Nice.
But
nice.
It's not on our... No, it's not. It's not on our Wi-Fi. That's what I'm telling you. We don't know how it works. Like, it must have its own... Signal. It's got its own signal because we have not connected it to anything. It's not plugged into anything but the normal outlet. So, like, it's remotely updating.
One time you should email our doctor and be like, you see that spike right there? We were doing it.
Well, it's not a heart rate monitor, and no, I'm definitely not going to be doing that with the mask on. She's like, "Come on, do me like I'm Darth Vader."
I was gonna say.
Yeah, and I'm like, sorry.
Say I'm your father.
I don't swing
Say
that
I'm
way.
your father. I'm almost done.
I'm just not gonna fucking do that at all. She made the joke, and I told her, I was like, "Yeah, you look like a robot. You look like Bane." Like, got your hoses hooked up. And the funny thing is, like, it's the hose doesn't come in, like, near the front or, like, the mask. It comes at the top of your head. So it's like a top knot hose.
So it does look like the Bane mask?
Yeah, it looks a lot like the Bane mask. She got really upset about it at first. And I'm like, just wear the fucking thing or die. Whatever. It was like, I don't care what you look like.
Next time she puts it on, be like, now I give you permission to sleep.
Oh, I told her, I was like, should I just paint it black so it, like, just looks cool? I was like, I just paint the whole thing black.
I mean, there is a picture of me out there with mine on, and that was when I was doing. That's when I got the a figure for a certain event that happened, and I was comparing myself to the Batman with the CPAP with the
that's right. I remember that because I didn't know you then.
Yes,
that's right. That is correct. That's funny.
That's why I love Dormammu. He pokes fun. He'll even poke fun at himself. He's not above it.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Shout out to the CPAP users, of course.
So let's just roll into our weeks then while we're at it, since I'm already there. But I did want to point out that you mentioned it's okay to make fun of yourself and accept your own embarrassment. So I did post the video of me on stage at the Texas Renaissance Festival.
Hey, Rob's meme.
I hate you all.
It's really quite good. I mean,
I hate
all
you
in all. Yes,
I hate you all.
Dude, that shit makes me laugh.
Ricky's gonna fucking have an apnea attack here. If you hear a thud, it's because Ricky fell over into the pool.
It's because I knocked my fucking microphone over laughing. That shit was so funny.
So either way, if you want to see that, you can go check out the
No.
What?
You can share it, but I want you to describe it.
No, I'm not going to describe it. I want them to go watch it.
Oh, they can, but they need to hear
so
it too.
if you do want to go see the video of me ending up on stage because Miss Shoki tricked me into getting the two merry men to do a happy birthday.
Yeah, totally tricked them. There was a gun. I saw it. She loaded on him.
I told you what she did. She had seen videos of what they would do if you told them it was somebody else's birthday. And so she legitimately wanted me to do it, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But then I did secretly because I thought they were going to mess with her. So she got her wish.
She knew they were going to fuck with you.
Yeah, she knew what was going to happen. I did not. That's why if you watch the video, you hear me go, "Oh, motherfucker!" It was like I saw where it was going. Like as soon as I said this, they literally said, "It's like, well, we don't like to normally pick on people. However, there's an unspoken rule here about Renaissance festivals." And it's like, if you volunteer someone else, you volunteer yourself. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. And he's like, sir, get your ass up here. I'm like, God damn it. I was like, it's a good thing I'm a YouTuber with no scruples. And I totally just got up there and played along hardcore.
But where you post the video for watch, you also have to put Rob's meme in the fucking,
No, I'm good.
Okay, well then I'm gonna take time in my week to describe that meme.
Well, you could put the meme in the comments of the Facebook post. So it's on the Shoki Facebook. I'm not going to do that, but if you want to do that, I'm doing
it right now while you're talking. You keep telling us about your week.
Well, Rob has it, so it's fine. Well, actually, we're gonna let Rob go first in case his meeting happens.
Just so you know, I already have it too. I totally saved that shit as soon as
I know you fucking dickheads. So we'll let Rob go first this week, just in case he has to go not be a dad but be an employee. So
sure.
So the short version is that being an employee involves a lot of hours, and especially for what I do, which is a lot of work. And there was a lot of work this past week again. However, yesterday was Halloween, and one child dressed up as Pikachu in a full outfit and looked quite good. The other dressed up as everybody's favorite, well, mostly favorite food, depending upon who you are, a taco. So as we were traveling up, you needed the street, to meet in the middle. Said, "Hey, look at the taco chew."
Yes, taco chew. Yes,
taco chew. But no, Halloween went off really well. The kids came home with 90% filled buckets until they were good and tired of walking, and that was literally 2 blocks worth. So they definitely panned hard for that candy. Came out really well, and of course we were that house. We handed out the full-size candy bars because that's what you do.
Flex.
So yeah, it was quite well. You know, I mean, we're not gonna backhand those kids. You know.
I talked my wife into full-size candy bars one time. Like she's like, "Oh, it'd be so great," and I ate all the motherfuckers. I didn't turn my light on. Fuck them kids. But I talked my wife into it.
And see, the problem is that after that, he talked her into ass play.
No.
That's a different kind of chocolate. Come on now.
You got me pegged. Hey, you've got me pegged for somebody else.
No, it's you got me pegged wrong.
Yeah. No, I went for
goes the other way. Goes in the opposite end.
That's the other podcast. You got me pegged wrong. So yeah, yesterday was actually quite fun. The weekend was nice. The weather was decent. Yesterday though, it rained, but thankfully it wasn't when we went out to go walk for the candy. So it all worked well.
Yeah, the rain held off here too. Like, it rained overnight, but is it me? I don't know where you guys live, but here I saw like friends, family, and everybody. Like, basically, ever since like Thursday night, it's just been Halloween every night in one way, shape, or form. Like a party here, trick or treating somewhere else, a kid's school thing, and then like actual Halloween wraps around on Monday, and it's like they've already been trick or treating like 6 different times. So it's like. I was like, is Halloween just a whole week celebration now, not just a singular night?
Well, because some of the schools had their little, well, they call them fall festivals, which
trunk or treats and fall festivals,
right? Exactly. And so it started on technically Friday, and then kind of transported itself all the way to yesterday. But literally and legitimately, this is how I knew it was over. 8:01 p.m. My neighbor turned off all the inflatables.
that.
All the lights turned off, all the
And
inflatables.
then woke up
Like,
the next
well,
morning
it's
and
over.
snowmen were in the yards.
Yeah, exactly,
exactly.
exactly. Like that's what I find funny. So I don't know if you guys follow Patriot Prime reviews or not. You know, Jason, and he was struggling to get all his inflatables up. He's like, ah, crap, I got this many done. I still got 6 more to put up, and I just ran out of extension cords. I'm gonna go get some more extension cords. And he's like, I think a week and a half ago, he's like, finally in its full glory. You know, he's got everything set up, and then he just posted today. He's like, we finished first in the neighborhood contest. I was like, that finished? It's like, how many cords did you need, buddy, just to get that first place? And I hope it
Was
comes
it worth
with
the electricity bill?
exactly, especially now. But to me, it was just like, do you get some money off your HOA fees for that? Because that seems like the only real bonus that you could possibly get out of a neighborhood thing.
Just bragging rights, which I don't care about any of these motherfuckers, so fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, we used to decorate, but not like that. I mean, obviously inflatables didn't exist, but like we put up lights. We'd have the pumpkins everywhere, you know, some fucking black cats and whatnot, but like nothing to the level now. It's like people have to have.
It's Christmas. That's the only thing I decorated for is Christmas, and it's only inside my house. Like the only thing outside my house that you'd even know I have Christmas set up is I have like this one thing of, I don't know, garland would be the best bet, but it just looks like a. It looks like
just looks like green
like
stuff.
a wreath that's been unwrapped. It's green. It has a couple of little cherries things looking in it. And it has some pine cones. And all I do is I just frame it above the top of my door. There's 2 nails that were there for some reason. I don't even know why. So I just hang it across that. And that's the only outside decoration I ever do on my house. And I have a hard rule. It goes up the weekend of Thanksgiving. This year it might be a week late because I'm gonna be out of town. But it goes up the weekend of Thanksgiving, and it does not come down till after my birthday, which is the end of January.
There you go.
Everything stays up. Christmas trees and everything. If it was up to me, they'd stay up year fucking round inside my house. I'm not one of those Florida trash people that have like the lights all on their fucking porch and all that shit. I'm not that guy.
Or
but inside my house, inside my house, I would totally. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Christmas trees in my house. And
You've mentioned this.
2 more.
You've mentioned this before.
So.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like you've mentioned that before. It's like all the Christmas trees. Like,
yeah, I would totally keep it up year round because it's very peaceful and relaxing to me. It's a big tie to memories with my grandmother, who was a very important part of my life, and so I always feel at peace. Plus, it works as a great nightlight. You don't have to worry about tripping on shit. You got a Christmas tree glowing over there in the corner.
Is it on the clapper?
No, I just leave it turned on.
Oh,
yeah, we don't have real trees here.
Well, I know, I figured that, but I was like, just always have the Christmas tree on.
Yeah, but I just dim it. Like I have one of those ones. It has a remote. You can dim it and all that bullshit. And, and on my main tree, it's always white lights. I don't do colored lights on my main tree, even though it has the setting to do that. I can switch between colored and white and chasing each other and
you
flashing.
Can't use that word, Ricky.
Yeah. I mean, look, multicolored lights. So like I can do
multicultural lights.
Multicolored lights. Yeah. So I can do that. I can make my tree the tree's fancier than the tree's fancier than it needs to be because I just want white lights.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I don't like it when it's just like
I let them put all that other crazy shit on the other trees. Like my boy's nerd tree always has multicolored lights because that's what they like, and it's in their room, so they do whatever the fuck they want to.
So
we got smaller little portable trees for the kids for their rooms, and then we've got the one tree. We used to do one-offs. We would do real tree one year, fake tree the next. But it got easier to get a real tree because we're so close to the farms. So just easier to go cut, and it's cut your own, which I personally, that's therapeutic for me.
Yeah, you get to go out there.
So we just
do work.
Yeah, it is basically cut it down. But I totally agree. White lights are definitely classier. They shine. They're better. But we instead of doing like my sister-in-law would do the theme trees. Like, oh, let's do all green garland. Oh, let's do all white.
Yeah,
we did that for 1 year, but we did that for 1 year. But after the kids, like each year, our premises. We get a new ornament for each of us each year, and then it just adds to the tree, and it makes it personal. Yeah, and it makes it personal.
What we do is every year, like my wife had this thing that she did, I guess, growing up, which is on Christmas Eve, you got one package. All right, and in that package was like a new set of pajamas, a movie, like a Christmas-based movie, and an ornament for the tree. So we do that every year for the boys. We get them their pajamas. We get a Christmas style movie, and we get them each a new nerd ornament for their nerd tree. And then we open it on Christmas Eve and we watch the movie. You know, we do the hot cocoa, we do the whole 9 yards, get all bundled up in the living room and watch it. And then, so we do that every year. And then my thing is Christmas morning with them. And it's not always on Christmas because of the split household thing. Sometimes it's a different day, but we set what our Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is, depending on when we have the kids. And so our Christmas morning, the TV, we got the big, 80-inch in the living room. It goes on the fucking fireplace thing on Netflix.
Same here.
Not the one with music. Not the one with music.
No.
Just the fireplace crackling wood one.
Yeah,
the
same
Yule
here.
log thing.
Yeah.
And then I turn the air conditioning down in the house so it feels like it's cold outside. And then I have a Christmas playlist that's on my iPod, and it's the same list every year. It starts on the same number one song and it plays through till we're done. And that's my only requirements for Christmas morning, is that those 3 boxes are checked. And other than that, I'm down for, you want to pass them out by one, you want to give all of them to this and all of them to that. No, we do all that shit, is up to everybody else. I don't care. But those 3 have to be on my OCD checklist. And other than that, I'm down for pretty much whatever. And we just have a great time just as a family together. And I don't do
usually during the
dates.
holidays, I have a YouTube video that I start sharing with my coworkers. That's basically a 8-hour burning dumpster fire, but it's a holiday theme.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See, I missed out on the the Lil dumpster fire. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got 3 of those, but I missed out on the Christmas one. I really fucking wanted it. And I missed out on dude, those exclusives go so fucking fast.
I wanted the 2021, but
I did too. I missed it. It instantly went away. But I'm pissed off because my friend Shannon has like every fucking version. I've only got a handful of them. But I got the little dog with the mug, the This Is Fine one, which is I'm perfectly okay with that. I actually really dug
the little
that
dog with the hat.
Yes, yes,
with the fire behind him.
Yes, exactly. So that crossover. So I got that one. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So if they do another Christmas one, I'll get it. They put out a non-dumpster, but a little ghost with a headstone nightlight one that just came out. I'm a little late now, obviously, because Halloween's about done.
Per usual, we went on a 10-minute rant on a 5-second thing that Rob talked about in the middle.
Well, he's talking about holidays.
Yeah. You were at full candy bars, Halloween, and go. No, I'm just trying to get us back to it so he can finish his week before he has to go to work.
No, my week is done. That was actually the week because it was mostly.
Oh, you're fucking lame. I worked hard to bring us back to that for no fucking reason, man.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so how about this though?
Thanks, Ricky.
Because Ricky and I basically went longer last week talking about all the shows, catching up on them. Did you get a chance to catch up on the shows that you were behind on?
I did get a chance to catch up on Andor and Rings of Power.
Okay.
Nobody cares about Rings of Power. What about the dragon one? The Hot D?
He's not watching.
No, that's up to you two.
He hasn't watched Hot D.
Okay. You need to watch Hot D. It's done now.
I know.
Okay.
And I started back up on Letterkenny again for my season 6. So
okay, good.
Jesus.
Working on it.
So
I know. Like I said, busy work.
You were behind too.
No,
Ricky.
you're good with Letterkenny because I'm still paused. I haven't unpaused since that time I told you I paused like 3
You get back at it. Pitter patter.
Get back at it.
Patter.
Yeah, pitter patter, motherfucker. Okay, so just give us your thoughts on the finale of Ring of Power real quick.
I absolutely loved it. I think it went the way it went certain ways that I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
It went certain ways that I thought it was going to. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
So did we? I don't know if we really. Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about it. That's right. We didn't because Ricky hadn't watched it, so we didn't talk about it.
Right.
So
and as many times as y'all haven't talked about it, I've told you every single time, spoil away, I'm going to watch it.
Well, I know, but there was no reason for me just to talk about it last week. So, yeah, it definitely got good by the end. I liked the revelation, of course, of how they did Sauron. That was
what,
actually...
they did Sauron? Thanks a lot for ruining the show, Shoky.
You already knew that by listening to fucking Nerd Rage, so shut up. So
I don't listen to Nerd Rage. You don't know me.
You have to listen to Nerd Rage as you make the fucking promos. Which, by the way, I didn't do any of our promo stuff at the beginning, but that's okay. I'll do it at the end. You guys know all our shit's in the description down below. Anyways, but also the stranger, as they call him, Meteor Man. Meteor Man. That's basic. Well, now there's rumors that he might not be actually Gandalf, but just one of the blue wizards initially. But it's like it's Gandalf. unless they change it. Which
It
we're gonna,
definitely it has to be.
so we're gonna
It has
talk.
to be.
We're gonna talk about the brouhaha that happened over this show at Amazon here in a bit, though, because apparently a lot of people weren't happy with this show, which makes a lot of fucking sense.
They weren't happy with.
Yeah, so like
I thought I was doing good.
No. See, the problem is that it's actually the opposite of She-Hulk, whereas everyone hated She-Hulk, and it was very publicly known that everyone hated She-Hulk. Rings of Power was like the opposite, where more and more people loved it, but nobody heard that positive thing out there. It's like so. Either way, but no, I thought it was fine, and the fact that they can't technically use anything specifically from the works of Tolkien. So they are having to make it up as they go along, but as long as they make the story work.
Why can't they use anything specifically?
They don't own the rights to the Silmarillion.
So this show is a KO?
Yeah, it's a KO, but like they can't use the direct works, but they can like imitate it, I guess. Yeah. And they can use the names and all that kind of stuff, but that's why a lot of the story is altered. That's why, well, there's also things that weren't necessarily filled in, or greatly detailed, but that's why, like, okay, so we got Gandalf centuries earlier than he should have shown up. We've got where the 3 Silmarils, what happened to them and how they kind of been turned into Mithril. So like that's changed from the book entirely. I think even the Elf King is actually technically different than he is in the book. Like not even the same name. So, but I guess elves, tend to have different names. But like there's a whole lot of shit that's different. So, but I mean, I still enjoyed the show.
They don't have the one elf, L. Ron Hubbard guy?
No, he's there. But he's not the king.
Oh, I slipped that right by you. Didn't even catch it.
No, I know what you said. Yeah, it's just him and Joseph A. Smith out there just writing their books. Writing their books. Hey, L. Ron Hubbard is a very interesting person. What has happened because of him, a little bit less. He was all right. But like he's the most published author in American history.
That doesn't mean anything when his cult people have to buy him.
It's not good. I'm not saying his works are good, but he is the most published author. That's insane.
But that's the problem. But what I'm saying is he's the most published because it's a prerequisite that they have to buy it. So yeah, he sold 50 million fucking copies, but 49 million of them went to people that if you don't buy it, you go to hell. So
yeah, but it's not about copies of the same thing. He's written a lot of books. He's written hundreds. So either way,
I don't know if that counts as the most, because I know I used to be really huge in the Alex Cross book series by James Patterson, and I had
he's written
30 of those, and I stopped on that years ago.
He's actually written more than those guys. But the
they're
all crap. But they're all crap. That's the problem. It's like everything he wrote is bullshit.
The only thing I've ever read of L. Ron Hubbard's was the Battlefield Earth. That's the only thing I ever read was that. That was way different than the movie.
Yeah, the movie definitely went a different direction, much like this conversation did. Okay, Andor then. Where we left off on Andor, since the new episode hasn't dropped yet as of recording this. Thoughts, feelings?
Thursday, tomorrow. I love it. It's getting better.
I'm talking to Rob.
Oh. Well, there's Rob's answer.
He's silent. What the hell?
Check your messenger. He might have said I had to be right back or some shit.
No.
I don't have my screen on.
Rob, did you accidentally mute or did you purposely mute? You have to tell us if you're going to mute, man. We're going to talk around you otherwise. Well, now comes the awkward part where I've asked a question, but I'm not editing any of this out.
Yeah.
So we're just going to sit here.
Where you asked a question, I try to answer it. You told me to shut the fuck up and let Rob answer, and then Rob doesn't answer. That's the awkward part.
Well, we got your answer. You and I talked about Andor last week.
Yeah, but there's been a whole new show since then.
No, we were up to date, weren't we?
No, they had the new show. We recorded on
Tuesday? That's right. We recorded Monday.
Monday, and the new show drops
on Tuesday. So. That's why I was confused. Didn't we not talk about how he ended up in prison? No, we did.
We talked
that
about
was the
newest
prison
episode is him
That's
in
right.
prison.
That's the newest one is in prison. Dude, the last week has been crazy.
That's what I'm trying to fucking tell you. That's what I keep saying. It just keeps getting better.
It does get better. Well, like I had thoughts on that entire prison episode. So let's wait to see what happened to Rob, because he just fucking disappeared on us without saying anything. So hopefully he's just like farting really bad or something and like can't talk. Usually if he has to dip, he'll fucking say something.
Yeah, go take a shit. We're gonna put you on blast, Rob. We're gonna tell everybody you're masturbating.
Well, he did that. He did that with Mike, I believe.
What, took a shit?
Well, no, he had to go pee. So we all took a pee break. And like,
I still haven't listened to that episode. I need to listen to that. I got to work a double tomorrow, so I'll make sure I listen to that episode.
Yeah,
I missed out on that one.
That's just a whole lot of talking.
Yeah, well, that's all these shows are, is a whole lot of talking.
You just blew my mind, much like Andor did. Well, we'll talk about Andor around him then. So, okay, the actual in prison episode of Andor, dude, that I gotta wonder how long he's gonna stay in there, because I mean he's got a like quote unquote 6-year thing.
5 year.
No, 6 years.
It's 5 years pre.
Oh yeah, but he's got 5 years till Rogue One, so obviously he's not going to stay in there the whole time. But the thing is, what I didn't realize till I watched one of these channels that tells you everything you missed. One of the guys he's talking to is in his crew in Rogue One, so odds are they're escaping together.
Oh, we already know that there's going to be an escape, because if you were paying attention, the whole entire episode, his head was on a swivel and his eyes were watching literally everything. So
and
he's definitely working on an escape in his head.
I love that reveal of how like basically the prison is the floor is lava. So it's like, well, actually, I guess the floor is electricity. They're just living inside a Tesla coil essentially. So everybody's barefoot, which has to fucking suck ass when you're fucking working on heavy machinery.
And metal all day.
Well, presumably it's warm in there. I wouldn't think it's cold, but you know.
No,
also
they're working with electronic components. You have to keep temperature down to keep humidity down.
Well, they're not working with electronic components. They're building a big metal, whatever the hell those things are,
with tools that have to use electricity.
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying it's hot.
Stuff, they keep temperature down because of humidity.
Well, I'm not saying it's like my working conditions. I'm just saying it's probably homeostasis levels of temperature. You know, it's not going to be uncomfortable, or they'd be bitching constantly about their feet freezing. I don't think
they get that choice. Would you rather your feet be cold, or would you rather be electrocuted?
Well, I mean, people make that decision in this episode. So like that
was crazy.
I knew, because it's always Chekhov's something. They always, somebody always has to go for whatever reason, and then eventually, somebody does.
Well, they got to show you how bad it can be, I guess. They showed us level 1 at the very beginning. They wanted to show us level 3. Yeah. Which, by the way, that was my only negative. It was very PG level 3. Like, I wanted to see some fried up fucking Joker 89 Hot Time and Old Town Tonight type shit. I wanted to see that.
I mean, like, it's very... that dude was probably pretty crispy by the time, Or at least
we're going to have to smell them all night or some shit.
Or at least give us, like, John Coffey at the end of Green Mile.
Yeah.
So like
smoke action.
So dude, like, I did not know ahead of time that Andy Serkis was going to be in this show.
I didn't either. That was
I think they're keeping a hat on a lot of stuff with this show. Yeah. How do you like our C plot and our B plot coming together finally?
Finally, I've been waiting for that to happen because they've been teasing old boy trying to get back into it and all that.
Yeah, and I love that he's been fucking filing false information requests constantly just to get attention.
To talk to him,
and he gets pulled in by the ISB to be interviewed, and of course, because of where he came from and what his requests were for, or Dedra has to get in there, and they can tell like their energy is almost the same, except he's not wearing an Imperial uniform. And she like uses him for information real quick, and then realizes he knows more than
he's playing the same game she is.
Yeah, and I like how she basically brings him into the fold after basically shooting him down super hard. But he's so insistent, and it's just like, well, fine, fuck, And then it turns out that they're Ray's parents. Just kidding.
What?
Now I'm joking, because there's no way that they're going to be Ray's parents.
Like, what kind of bullshit videos you be watching on Facebook? Man?
No, that would just be fucking funny. These people won't be alive at the end of this episode, or at the end of this show. Probably something bad's gonna happen to them.
Everybody.
I'm trying to. And the guy I was talking about, it's Wolf something. I already forgot his last name, but he's the guy who was from Episode 4 and Clone Wars and probably even Rebels. Who's Wolf?
You're talking
Wolf
about
Yularen.
the Imperial guy.
Yeah, his name's Wolf Yularen. So he went from being basically being a normal commander, head of a ship and all that kind of stuff, and now he's working for the fucking ISB.
Well, you got that backwards. He was ISB first and then went to being a commander and a ship captain.
No, because he was a commander on board of ships during the Clone Wars. He worked with Anakin.
Oh, okay.
And he worked with
Okay.
Anakin and
Yeah, that's the Anakin guy. Yeah.
that's the guy who
Yeah,
worked with them. So the guy with the mustache. And actually, I think it's the
Yeah.
same voice actor as the announcer on Clone Wars. But obviously this is different. But Wolf Yularen is his name in the show. It took
But
me
I
a while.
like that. See, that's the proper way to do fan service.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
you
you see-
drop his name, people know who he is, but you don't go, "Hey, remember this guy? He was on that
Yeah.
one ship." Wubba-dubba-dub.
Well,
I
it's
hate
also
that shit.
like you have to know his name in the first place and then catch that that's his name in this show at all, because they're dropping stuff constantly. Like there's
Yep.
so much shit in the background going on, or so many comments, or so many things on screen that are not the main focus that are all references. They're all like super deep references. Anytime you've got Orabesh on screen, odds are it's gonna be we didn't even look at the time. He's in his meeting. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened. He said 2 o'clock.
Usually he says, "Hey, I got a jet or some
Yeah,
shit."
he said it was going to be 2 o'clock, and it was already after 2, so that makes sense. Either way, so that's where Rob went. He just forgot to mute to tell us he was muting. So either way,
Asshole.
yeah, sure. So we'll get his thoughts on Andor later.
No, we'll just tell you his thoughts are he agrees with us because
finally, because remember how diehard against Andor he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? We didn't when Mike was on, we didn't really get to talk TV shows, so I never got his opinion on Andor if he was even watching it.
I'm gonna assume he likes the A plot, but hates the B plot because they had to make it an Imperial female be the boss.
Well, actually, the real question is who is actually the B plot? Is Dedra the B plot, or is Mon Mothma the B plot? Because we got more Mon Mothma action this episode
that's
too.
true. Well, that's a B and C plot. So
yeah.
I would say the Mon Mothma is a C plot because it's overarching to the Star Wars story, but the ISB chick is the B plot because hers is directly arced to Andor.
Oh, and I forgot we also, because I'm remembering the episode now as we go, and his female cohorts from the job they did are now trying to hunt him down, but have no idea where he is. So they're back on his quote unquote home world, spying on his friends and family, like trying to fucking figure it out. And then his mom got hurt or something while out protesting, or going after the imps, and basically got her ass in trouble and got hurt.
She was trying to figure out about some underground tunnel or some shit.
Something, yeah. And like, I think it's going to show that's going to be another key place for the rebels. Oh, we got Saw Gerrera as well, which is pretty cool. I actually like.
Oh, and by the way, because I'm sure he never listens to this show, even though he should. Bobby, you missed one of the call outs to Saw Gerrera because he was also in the Fallen Order Jedi game.
Yeah, he was. And
they were talking about all the time Saw Gerrera showed up in Star Wars. They forgot about that one.
Yeah, because he was at both. I think he was in Clone Wars and Rebels, and obviously Rogue One, and this.
And this is what they said. They
Jedi Fallen Order.
Forgot about Fallen Order because he's one of the levels you beat up with him to drive the AT-AT.
So that must have been because Cal Kestis is young enough when that game starts.
He was a youngling during Order 66.
Yeah, but Saw. Oh, okay, I keep forgetting about the time gap. Saw dies right before Episode 4. That makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
Saul dies the same time Andor dies. He has a 5-year left on his shit, same as Andor does.
And I like how he's less fucked up too. Like,
that's what I was looking for. When they had him on screen, I was looking for everything that was different than how he was.
Dude, his suit was different. He was a little less fucked up. His hair was different. He actually looked a little bit closer to how I think his initial look was. Yeah. Well, he had an initial look in the trailer for Rogue One, and then they changed it before the movie dropped. I think his head was shaved and everything, and then he had the crazy hair when the actual movie dropped. So
much time had passed by the time the show came out.
Something. But like, I like how they went there, and we got to see the kind of predecessors to the X-Wings. They're not technically X-Wings, they're the predecessors, even though they look specifically like fucking X-Wings. We got to see a two-tube.
Yep.
Which, so I'm sure Bobby was hyper excited. He's like, a tube? There was a two-tube there. Mm-hmm. But I like that whole conversation they had. Basically, like, look, you should join us. Together we can do all this other stuff.
That was interesting to see all the different factions of the rebellion still aren't working together.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm not working with that other asshole. Fuck him. Basically. And then he tries to basically wrangle him in. He's like, well, if you don't do that, then you don't get this. And he's like, well, if you don't do that, then you don't get this. So like, they're trying to work business/political deals to get everybody on the same side, even though they're all fighting for the same thing in different ways, but they don't want to work together. That's the whole
Like
thing.
it's
The
everybody kind of
disparate.
forgets that.
Yeah,
They,
it's
they,
like
they think the rebellion is instantaneous after the Empire took over. No, it was all these little pocket guerrilla
this
groups
is
on
only
individual
like
planets and systems.
yeah. So
And
the
it's actually the events of Rogue One that bring them all together to the actual
yeah,
rebellion.
and of course and Rebels is technically taking place at this same point in time, right?
No, Rebels is pre this because
That's what I'm
Rebels, he
saying.
wasn't
Like
all.
no,
He
what I'm
wasn't
saying,
all
like
fucked up.
parts, like there is some chunk of Rebels that is also going on behind the scenes somewhere. Like because there's still
I
people
think Rebels was
people
too
alive. There are still
right.
so in theory
Maybe the later stuff, like where they show like Ahsoka going and meeting the
Yeah.
old clones and all that shit.
Yeah,
Maybe
so-
that's still
so-
going on.
yeah, I mean it's not the young days of Rebels,
Yeah.
which basically picks up almost immediately after Order 66.
Like we're probably right
But
around where Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul somewhere in there.
Could do.
Spoiler alert.
Could do.
Yeah.
Well actually wasn't that like almost right before episode 4? It was like
Yeah,
right
they
there.
don't really say, but he's old man in
It's
that
pretty
one, so,
close, I think.
yeah.
But either way,
Yeah.
I think that if they want to
He definitely looks more Alec Guinness than Ewan McGregor
for
in
sure.
that cartoon. Yeah.
And I think that at some point we'll probably get more. We'll see more of the other Rebel factions. Maybe even some of the people left over from Rebels. In theory, you know, we get some on-screen people there. You know, that way we don't have to rely on them only kind of popping up in their own separate series, like for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Even though Ahsoka is going to continue from where she is now, not from back then. Oh, did you get a chance to watch the
Yes.
Tales of the Jedi?
Tales of the Jedi.
I fell
Yes.
asleep.
Oh my
so-
god, I watched them all the other day. I loved them.
Was it good? Okay. So
Yeah, I
I
loved
started the first one, and once again I should never watch anything immediately after eating lunch because I was just gonna fucking fall asleep. I mean, it was cool, like the whole story with Ahsoka being born and all that, and I got up until her mom got into the kind of the fight with the space jaguar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that's where I
I'm
left
not gonna
off.
ruin anything. It's
No.
really good.
But I woke
It's
up it
really
was
well.
already on the second episode. It's like, well, I don't know how the fuck that ended. So it's like, well,
They
clearly
don't tie together, so it doesn't.
Well, I
matter.
know that, but I'm just saying, like, because I was like, wait, it's like this is not the same episode. I was like, what the fuck
Without
is this?
spoiling too much, the main people are Ahsoka and
Dooku.
Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Those are really the main characters of all 6, and you see glimpses of them heading down the path that we know happened to them in Clone Wars and Rebels. Is
Yeah.
what it is. It's like little one shots showing you leading to that.
And that's cool.
Okay, so how do you get from here to here, or how did she get from here to here? That's what you're seeing with these things.
Yeah, and that's
And
fine.
it's definitely an upsell for the Ahsoka show. Like they're trying to get that interest raised back.
Are we gonna get? Are we gonna get a young Dooku? Are we gonna get a young
doubt it.
Dooku episode? or
But
show?
the guy who did his voice, because I looked, I was like, did they really get him? I thought he died.
Christopher Lee died a
but-
long time ago.
But that's what I'm like. I was like, how did
Yeah.
they do? They must have I thought maybe they pre-recorded them like they did with Black Panther. Like I thought maybe they just had recordings of them.
Is
So
it,
I was
is
like,
it that
holy.
close?
Yeah, I like it. It was
Well,
real. Like it
you-
sounds like a young version of Dooku. Like it
Well, you
really,
know
you
what-
could see it being the same guy.
You know what they can do now?
Matheson or Richard Madison
Okay,
or
so
something like
somebody
that. Was the voice actor.
actually did it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I looked to see,
so-
and I thought maybe they were doing like the James Earl Jones things, like where they
that's
had
what I
the
was gonna
robot.
say. It's
Yeah.
like, what are the rights to the voices of passed away actors now?
Right.
So who
I think that comes down to the family. You'd have to ask.
So,
the
yeah,
families
but it's
permission to
like-
do that shit.
technically speaking, the studio owns all of those performances. Now, what is it the right thing to give money to someone who didn't actually do anything? Or is it just you have to give credit and to say that clearly this is, we're using Respeecher to do this? Because that's what
Yeah,
James
no,
Earl
this
Jones
is-
said. So every
you can
time we hear
tell-
Vader from here on
Right.
out, or
if he sounds like James Earl Jones, it's not
Yeah.
James Earl Jones.
yeah, it's just going to be James Earl Jones in robot form.
Yeah.
In perpetuity, we will have that voice forever.
Right.
But they basically sold it to Disney, right? Not just Star Wars. So if there's any character he's ever voiced that they wanted to bring back for that reason, they could do it.
Mufasa.
We could bring more. So when they want to do Lion King 1.5,
Could you imagine if they did Simba's Pride as a live action fucking movie because it was a straight to video thing back when we were young. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Except they put it out. They put it out in theaters. Like it definitely should have been Disney Plus. Or like, no, this movie needs its due.
Dude, we got to make our money back on James Earl Jones. It's going in theaters.
We spent so much money for his voice.
Yeah.
Just to be able to say, this is CNN.
That would be fucked up if they did that shit, dude. I would laugh. I was like, you fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess because Rob will be back eventually, we'll just go on with everything else we've done.
Yeah,
I guess.
We can move into our weeks. Go ahead.
So, yeah, let me blow through mine. Mine, once again, wasn't super eventful. Trying to save money, realistically. So, we watched Andor. That's fine. The other night for Halloween, we watched Little Monsters.
Nice.
That movie does not fucking hold up.
No.
And
just nostalgia points.
Well, she loves it, so I was just like, okay. We wanted to watch something quote unquote spooky.
Right.
And it's just like, and there are parts of that movie that did scare me like a motherfucker when I was a kid, but like as an adult, you're just like, can this fucking be over? Also, there's so many fucking continuity errors in that movie, it's absurd. Like I sort of pulled.
Is that that's the one with Fred Savage, or is that the one with Corey Feldman?
Fred Savage. And Howie Mandel is the monster.
When he was that quirky guy.
When he was Maurice. So
Maurice, that's it.
Also, we did watch.
I always mix that one up just by the title. You know which one I'm talking about, though?
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Feldman with where they actually had the monsters. Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. Yes.
For some reason, I always mix those two up. When somebody oh yeah,
Monster Squad's a much better
when somebody
movie.
Says Little Monsters, my brain will picture Monster Squad.
Well, when somebody says Monster Squad, I think Little Monsters. So we did watch a documentary because I want to try to get her to stop watching fucking Netflix all the damn time. So I poked around HBO to show her. It's like, look, you watch all these crime dramas and fucking documentaries. HBO is full of documentaries. So we watched the What Happened Brittany Murphy documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what happened to her is just insane. Like, and then of course, like her and her husband die a year apart of almost identical symptoms. And there's no
Did they ever decide if it was drug related or not?
No. They say that it was just due to the pneumonia, quote unquote, that they had. Now mind you, both of them had an enormous amount of prescription drugs in their system when they died. And like, well, it's really funny. So she died in 2009.
God, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing, like, because we're watching the thing, she knows more about it than I do because she really, really loved Brittany Murphy. So she already knew that like there was suspicion of the husband. There's always been the talk of drugs. There was already the anorexia problem where she lost a fuck ton of weight, and like, you know, everybody told her, so why the fuck are you so skinny? But either way, what I was thinking about, I was like, you know what else happened between 2009 and 2010 that killed a fuckload of people before they figured it out? Swine flu.
Swine flu.
Swine flu was both, well, technically both. They were on top of each other. But, yeah, that major outbreak that basically killed 500 million fucking people was in that year gap. But because of the very specific issues that she had when she died. The other thing I thought is like, damn, that sounds like fucking fentanyl almost, like the way she died so quickly of the inability to breathe. But then they found out that like her lung tissue wouldn't even float, which meant that she had fucking horrendous pneumonia. Her lungs were basically just full of fucking fluid.
They were lead at that point.
Yeah, she was basically dead. I mean, like they would have had to get her to a hospital almost days before that to even remotely save her life.
They had to go old school and put her like one of those iron lungs or something.
Yeah, something. It was bad. But and then
you know what else it is? Ironically, when you look at all that stuff going with our modern thought process, is very much was COVID symptoms too. Like people
well, they thought it was flu. Like she was sick, dizzy, and all these other things. But SARS was way before that though. But either way, that some type H1N1, SARS, all those things are so similar.
They're pretty much the same.
Yeah. They all kill you roughly the same way. So, but the fact that she did have like a ridiculous amount of prescriptions that weren't even in her name and all these other things, and the same thing, it's already questionable issues about her husband. You know, then they started digging into it, and her husband had fucking kids from other women before they ever got together. And none of that was ever on record. He was never a billionaire. He was a fucking liar. all this kind of crazy shit. So they're like trying to point the finger at the husband killed her, but then he dies the exact same way less than a year later. It's like
he killed himself with the same drugs he killed her with.
Yeah, but then they also tried to blame it on black mold. So this was the same time when they were coming out with the whole toxic mold thing.
Oh, I remember that shit.
Yeah, so and they said that there was mold in the house, but there was no spores in their lungs. So there was no proof that killed them. But it could have been a thing. But like so many of the big things that happened around about that time were all blamed for their death. But realistically, there's no answers. Like, and like the other thing is like there was suspect that like he and her mom started hooking up, and because like their behavior was really strange, even though her mom was already pretty fucked up in the head. The dad tried to have all kinds of stuff go down, which he just popped up out of nowhere. It was a hell of a documentary, like, and it starts out all about, you know, her early life, you know how they do, and then it eventually rolls around to him, that evil bastard. You know, he killed her. And just like, come on. It's like there was no reason for him to kill her. She was his meal ticket.
She was his gravy boat.
She was his meal ticket. Like, there was no reason to kill her. It's like, you get to fuck someone 20 years younger than you who's hot as fuck and gives you all her money, and all she wants is to be able to love you, and you just got to show affection back sometimes. It's like, why would you kill that? That makes no sense. It would make more sense if her mom killed her, because she wanted everything, but her mom is kind of nuts as it is, definitely way off her rocker. But her mom was living in the same house, and she didn't die. So I was like, a little weird. Either way.
So maybe the mom did do it. Maybe she killed both of them.
It's worth a watch. And I'm trying to remember, I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast, but like while we were in our break, I did watch another documentary on HBO, and that was Fastest Woman on Earth, about Jesse Combs.
Oh, okay.
And I definitely, if you are into any kind of automotive racing or modifying or anything else like that, you know who Jessie is. She was literally... I'm not
into any of that shit, but I know her name.
Yeah, so she was on Mythbusters in like the final real seasons. She was on what was called the Power Block on like Sunday mornings. They had like just a 2-hour block of different automotive shows. So she was on, I think, the 4x4 show. She was on the off-road show. She held records for the Baja 1000, all kinds of other off-road racing and stuff like that. But then she got into wanting to set a land speed record, because like she was already into drag racing and stuff like that, but that wasn't her forte. But like nobody would know this offhand, because everybody just focuses, generally speaking, on men setting records. But like the female world speed record on a car, at least what would technically be called a car, was set all the way back in like 1965 or something. And had yet to...
trash record too.
Nope. It was not a trash record. It was 511 miles per hour.
I thought that was the one where it was only like a couple hundred or whatever.
No, there was one before that, but that was the easy one to break. So okay. there's the thing is with the records, you have to be, and there's it depends on what the motivation of the vehicle is, whether it's engine, motor powered or jet powered. So the record for car was like closer to 3, like actual engine was like 300 some odd miles per hour. She broke that one really easily. But then the actual jet one. So the cool story about it is the guys who approached her, because they wanted someone to drive the car. The guy who owned it was really old and already had a whole bunch of land speed records. But he also was like, you know what? It'd be cool to actually have a woman on board for this, and she seems perfect. So they brought her in, and they immediately went to work. But what he was using was actually an old jet. Like, you remember like those test jets that like NASA had that were like super fast, like in the 70s. How you work for Lockheed Martin, you should know what it is. I don't remember the exact number of the thing, but it's like single engine, small thing. They actually found one that was disused and left somewhere, bought it for like 50 grand or something, and basically developed a car chassis around that. And like, it's just basically a fucking actual jet on wheels that they were trying to set land speed records for. And, everybody thinks about Bonneville, the salt flats being where all these things go down. No, these guys were like up in like Montana or something, in a dry lake bed, which was pretty cool. So they only basically had to compete against themselves. It wasn't even like a whole big thing. Nobody else was out there. So it's just really cool. And yes, it is the story about her death, unfortunately. So spoilers, she died
In an accident?
in an accident in the jet car. So this is really the story building up to that. And it took place, like, this documentary started in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
They started filming it in 2013, thinking that's when they were going to set the record. And they only finished it in 2019. So it took them like 6 fucking years to put it all together, because that's, she died in 2018 or 2019. So
I'm sitting here while you're talking. I'm taping up something for a paint project, but I'm thinking about what you were talking about. It was like the X25 or X27, some bullshit like that. It had the forward sweeping wings.
No, not the one that was forward sweep. No, not the forward sweeping ones. They were kind of the blocky.
That's the one I'm picturing in my head, and it was like a X20 something.
It was no, I know which one you're talking about. No, not that cool one. It was the
other one that I know of is they called it a Susan. It's like the subsonic something. Blah, blah, blah,
I don't remember which one it is.
I think that's more modern.
That's a little bit more modern. This one is it had slightly more blocky wings, and it tended to be kind of reddish orange. It was very similar. It wasn't
I had to Google that shit.
It wasn't like,
I just remember the one with the forward sweeps.
Yeah, it wasn't like the rocket plane that like Robert Glenn,
Chuck Yeager,
Yeager, and them set their shit in. It was later than that, but similar, because it was a jet. It was a proper jet, not a rocket.
Right.
So that was the thing, is that the woman who set the record way back when actually was in a rocket car, not a jet car. And also they talk about her accidents, they talk about her life. They actually go into the history of it. Should have just been called the fastest women on earth, because they do go over it. They even go find her and talk to her. Like,
oh, she's still alive?
Was at that time.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, so Jesse went there to basically get her blessing. And I was like, I cried during this documentary, because it was pretty touching. Because like, they went through a lot of shit. It wasn't just her death though, that was the thing. But like, just they went through so much shit along the way.
So spoilers then, did she set the record before she died?
She died setting the record.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So
it was her second,
but it was her death.
Yeah, so it was her second pass to set the record. And the thing is, like, after it happened, they're still cleaning up the scene and everything else like that. Everybody's, the firefighters are out there. They had to put the thing out because it crashed. They didn't say how fast she was going when she crashed, but it was a major mechanical failure is what happened.
That's what I was going to ask you. Was it an explosion?
Yeah,
or a wreck?
It was, I think, shit, what happened exactly? She hit the brakes and she tried to cut the engine, and nothing happened.
Nothing responded.
She popped the chutes, and that's all that slowed her down at all, because she was already going, insanely fast.
All right.
That sucks. And then it dug in like something, like I think the front wheel broke. Oh, it was the front wheel broke after that, and then it dug in and just basically
crumpled.
She was dead at that point. And
that's horrible.
And there's no way out. And the guy even says it, because they watch the footage, because it's like basically GoPro black box footage in the cabin from multiple angles, so that way they can see the gauges, they can see her, they can see everything when it goes on. And they say she did everything right, but it didn't matter because it was just done. And the sad thing is, the owner of the car had passed away the year before due to cancer, so he never got to see her set the record. And then they made her the main driver, slapped her name on this, or big letters on the side of it. She was wearing his 200-mile-an-hour club hat, all this shit. And then fucking that goes so horrifically wrong at one of the lowest points of her life. She set a record that probably won't be broken, but we'll see.
I'm just saying, people will be afraid to break it to be disrespectful to her death.
Well, that's why, but it's insanely hard. Like, everybody gets close, but you got to remember, they got to break 511.2 miles an hour. That's not the easiest thing in the universe to do. You know, we're talking like men's records are barely above that. Like, so the women's records are right there because it doesn't matter who's behind the wheel because the guy who owned the thing was also trying to set records in it, you know? So, but he was also like 68, you know?
Right.
So either way, like it's really cool, like, because, you know, you get to see her history, you get to see about the car, you get to see all that kind of stuff. It was just good. I don't tend to watch documentaries that often, but I knew that one was there, and because I did know the shit she had done in life, I'm like, okay, I want to watch this out of respect. And, you know, like, because I saw everyone's reaction to her death. Be like all of the car channels that I followed, held Mythbusters, everybody commented on it when she died. And I just saw a thing that posted like 2 weeks ago where they're still talking about it since the documentary came out.
And so when did she die? Like, when was this record and all that? Was like the teens, you said?
2019.
Wow. So that wasn't even that long
No,
ago.
no, pre-pandemic. So it was crazy, you know. But like she held records and medals, trophies for all kinds of shit. You know, she's built custom vehicles, all kinds of other ridiculous stuff, you know. Like they barely would let her even compete in the Baja 1000, and then when they finally did, she had podium finish.
Wow.
Like they wouldn't even let her in, and then they finally let her in, fucking podium finish first year. So I was like, fuck you.
Right.
You know,
Pieces of shit. You've
Yeah.
done this the whole time.
so
Hey,
yeah,
real quick, let's take a pause while he's not in here too.
that's fine.
So we cut here. So I gotta go pee-pees and grab a
Pee
drink.
break.
Pee break.
Pee break.
All right, be right back.
Pausing. Okay. Recording again. Okay, so on top of watching all those things, I did get some stuff in a little ways. I did get the newest Power Rangers comic. That's issue 101, the first issue since the one of the original writers has now left as of the anniversary issue. Pretty cool. You know, they have to do a new status quo in a way and stuff like that, and interesting new way to kick off. I don't tend to go into too much of the Power Rangers comics discussions, but like, for the most part, ever since the invasion of Earth and then all the stuff that just happened with the Death Ranger, things have just not been quite the same. And like Lord Zed left, Rita's gone, all this kind of stuff. And then the moon was apparently put in. I guess this must have happened in the episode or the issue I did not read, which was number 22, I believe it was. I need to read that. I have it now, finally. The moon was put under a cloaking field, and no one could get there. Like, you couldn't transport there, anything.
So you're doing Moonfall, but Power Rangers?
I thought about that too. I thought it was funny, but apparently there's stuff going down on the moon because as soon as this cloaking field drops, the Rangers decide to go up there in their new Dragon Zord flying mode, which is really weird. They add wings to the Dragon Zord. It's a little weird, but it works. It's the only one that can fly on its own, and
it doesn't snake its way through the sky anymore.
No, well, the last time they used it to fly to the moon, it just flew on normal rocket power. This one, they actually gave it wings after the Dragon Zord got revamped by.
Are we talking about the green Dragon Zord or the red Dragon?
The green Dragon Zord. Okay.
So that's why I said the snake it through the sky thing. I was thinking the red one.
So remember in this continuity, while the regular Rangers have moved on to their Thunder Zords and stuff like that, the new Green Ranger is still around with his revamped Dragon Zord.
And it's not Tommy?
No, it's not Tommy. Tommy's the White Ranger.
Oh, okay.
So now we currently have 7 active regular Power Rangers on.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, not to mention the Omega Rangers or any of the other ones that are out in space. But you know that's why there's 2 separate stories that are happening. You know, but either way,
don't stay on target with this Power Rangers thing, but keep White Knight in mind because I have a question for you after you're done with the Power Ranger stuff.
White Knight?
Yeah, the Batman.
Gotcha. I was actually going to talk about it.
Okay.
So because I got the new one of those too. So
okay, cool. So finish your Power Rangers thing.
Yeah. So the other thing is that so they finally decide to go up to the moon to see what's going on. They get there and are immediately greeted by some very strange looking putties, apparently being led by Goldar to come attack them.
What the fuck?
But actually, Goldar is running from those putties and is screaming for help. So,
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
No, it is funny because even them, they're like, "What the fuck is happening?" They're like, "This doesn't make any sense." And then they said, Rangers, you have to help us. You've got to save Lord Zed. And like, what the fuck is happening? And then eventually you find out what the fuck is happening, but I will leave that as spoiler free because a character that we weren't sure if they were ever going to come back has come back with a vengeance. And they're going back to...
Oh, can I guess? Is it Dragon or whatever his name was?
Who?
Dagon?
Draken?
Lord Dagon?
Draken?
Lord Dagon or...
It's Draken, is what you're trying to say. No, Draken is out in the universe doing God knows what. Draken is this comic book's Frieza, to make a Dragon Ball Z reference.
I didn't get that reference either because I don't read Dragon Ball.
But basically, he's out there just conquering shit. But he's out there somewhere, and it's not. He may or may not be on board with what happened, just by some coloring things that I noticed. But because there's some new color cues to certain people, and you're like, But those might all be connected elsewise. So they had already teased the Machine Empire and stuff like that would lead into Zeo. But like they already came to Earth, tried to conquer shit. We beat them a little bit.
Power Rangers fans know what you're talking about.
Power Rangers fans will know what I'm talking about. So
okay, then we'll just leave it at that. Then go ahead.
Yeah. So remember, Power Rangers Zeo was the first major change up. Like so, that was season 4. So the first 3 seasons were Dino, Thunder, then Ninja, but the same Rangers, essentially same outfits the whole time. So Zeo was
Rangers because you had Rocky.
Mostly the same Rangers. There's there's only the few that swapped out, and then like right at Zeo they changed like 2 more, and then that was it. Until we got to Turbo, when things just went nuts. So either way, so they've already talked about the Zeo Crystal. They've already dealt with a lot of that stuff during the
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
No, well, one of those. It was one of those stories. It was the invasion.
Yeah.
So they had 2 very big issues, like really back to back to back. But either way, the where the story is going, because you always got to wonder is like after they have a huge thing go down, a huge event to where certain characters leave, and then you got to be like, okay, what the hell?
How are they gonna fix this?
Yeah, well, like, okay, so minor spoiler, but it's a little bit older now. So Jason ended up, after they defeated the Death Ranger, because Jason was possessed by the Death Ranger.
They beat up on somebody with a handicap. That's kind of fucked up.
The fuck are you talking about?
Why would they beat up a Deaf Ranger?
Death Ranger.
Okay.
Not the deaf one. Is there a deaf?
I was like, that's super fucked up.
Is there a deaf ranger? Now I gotta think about it.
That's what I thought you said.
No, okay, I thought you were just fucking with me. No. Death.
No, I was like, what the fuck is
no.
shit? In this day and age, they got away with that?
So their big cataclysmic thing for 100 was the Death Ranger. And that was
I remember you talking about
Yeah, so that was their version of Deceased. You know? And so it could control death, and anybody who died could be resurrected as a zombie. So he had quote unquote, or they, sorry, killed quote unquote a bunch of the Rangers and brought them back under their command. Goddamn fucking pronouns.
I got what you're saying. It's their brightest day, darkest night.
Yeah, but when I'm saying they, I mean I'm specifically meaning the Death Ranger, because it is a non-binary alien species. So that's the difficult problem with referring. So because
they're aliens, so they don't have.
They're aliens. They don't have to do anything like that. And it's not even. They already had multiple non-binary alien species on the show.
Gotcha.
Show. Either way, so what happened was Jason was possessed by the Death Ranger specifically, which was a really cool outfit because it mutates and gets all spiky and deadly and looking stuff.
Cool looking.
It looks really fucking cool. But then to beat it ended up severing his connection to the morphin grid, so he cannot morph anymore. So
they just stayed the Death Ranger.
No, they basically pushed the Death Ranger out of him, but he lost by cutting him. Yeah, I got you. So they had to depower him to do that, so he's not a Ranger anymore. So he went back to Earth.
Just real quick, people listening, I'm not trying to be obstinate and be an asshole. I'm really trying to keep up with what
you're trying to keep up. It's a lot.
Stuff.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, unlike these long sprawling stories that they've done before, like the stuff around the Death Ranger was like realistically only like 6 issues total between the 2 comics. So, it's just like, okay, that this huge big bad ancient Power Ranger being resurrected that can control life and death. I was like, hey, that sounds really bad. Dead gone defeated the next issue.
So
what the fuck?
to put it in my terms, it's like the Batman metal stuff. Like it was the main story was actually only like 6 comics, but they had all the branching comics where it affected everything else also attached to the story.
So like death metal, if you got the entire collection of death metal, was something like 16 17 issues total, and not counting the stuff that sequeled it, just up to the death metal changes. This was literally 5 or 6 issues total, and then it was resolved.
Gotcha.
So it was just okay, so we introduced that old Rangers exist, that we had more Omega Rangers before we even knew about it, and now you had a Ranger who figured out how to control life and death. And it was very similar to Batman. Say when Batman could have had the ability to resurrect his parents.
Oh, when he was
yeah, exactly.
Not Megatron, but you know who I mean.
Yeah.
Magnon or whatever.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. So the Death Ranger, as a character, the Death Ranger was actually pretty cool when they were still the Gold Omega Ranger. And then the reason,
by the way, it's Metron. It just hit me.
Metron, yes. So the whole reason that they learned all this like dark magic to control death was to resurrect their loved one. So like it was a tragic story, and because if anyone had been affected by death, they could manipulate somebody.
Is it a spoiler for you to tell me who their dead loved one was they were trying to bring back?
It was one of the other Omega Rangers.
Okay, so somebody I wouldn't know.
No, yeah. I think it was was it the blue? I think it was a blue Omega Ranger.
But being that my Power Ranger stuff pretty much ends.
No. This happened thousands upon thousands of years ago. So it was like even outside of normal canon, so you wouldn't have any idea. Okay. So because the Omega Rangers basically existed almost first. Like they're like one of the most powerful versions of the Power Rangers out there, but they're like an ancient lost fucking secret. So so I'm still reading into that story how I'm still waiting on the second half of Necessary Evil, where they came up with that. This was like 2 years ago when they introduced the Omega Rangers, but but Jason lost his powers, went back to Earth, which was good because he had just lost his mom and his dad like back to back.
Jesus.
And so that's how the Death Ranger could possess him. It's like he already had like that feeling of loss and woe, so it made it easy. Gotcha. And then he could just
made him easier to possess. Instantly
possessed him after killing him, quote unquote, killing him. So now we have a new Omega Ranger to replace him. Okay. So this is one of the few times they shift up colors. So this is interesting. Trini
shift up colors.
Yeah. So Trini is now the Omega Red Ranger.
She was the Yellow Ranger.
She was the Yellow Ranger. Zach is still the black one. So
that's racist.
I know, but it is what it is. I like comic book Zach. I do. Like the comic book Zach's pretty cool, the way they developed a character in there. But
was it Walter Young was the one that played him on the show?
You combine 2 different people. You combine 2 different Black Rangers, not Walter Young. So you combine Johnny Young Bosch, who was Adam, with Walter. Oh damn it! If you hadn't said it, I would have remembered because I follow him.
Well, actually, I messed it up because I know a guy named Walter Young that I talk to all the time. It just kind of
Jones, I believe Walter Jones. I could be wrong.
Okay. But yeah, I always liked him on the show.
Yeah, no, he's great. But like they alter all these characters a bit. Gotcha. Yeah, it's Walter Jones. I got it. Yeah. I was right the first. I should not have second guessed myself. I had it right. But either way, like
Power Ranger guru.
But it is interesting to see that because before, during Necessary Evil, when Trini and Jason were trapped on this weird planet and their connection to the grid got screwed up, when they morphed, they had switched colors. So she was now Tyrannosaurus red and he was Sabretooth yellow. Oh wait, was the color? It might have only been the color that changed. Now I gotta remember if the whole suit changed or just the color. Either way, so now it's interesting to see he's gone. She's now the leader of the Omegas. So she took over at Omega Red, which I think was spoiled. It was actually spoiled in an alternate cover. Like on the, when you flip through the book in like at the back, they'll show alternate covers sometimes. And it showed a female Red Ranger. I'm like, okay.
What's this?
That's odd.
Is this just fan art?
Yeah, exactly. So like, I can't wait for Hasbro to eventually give us the Omega Rangers in figure form, because like I like the designs. I think it's cool, and it gives us alternate versions of characters that we already know.
They're
and
the
love.
ones that have like the shoulder pad things, like the green.
Yeah,
Ranger
they've got
shoulder
the
pad
shields
things.
almost like the same
Okay.
thing. Yeah, and then eventually they have to give us the big cat ranger, which would be fun.
Big Cat Ranger.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember
Like Cat Williams, like they give you.
No, no,
big
it's
Megazord
it's
Cat
a
Williams.
no, it's a big 6-eyed tiger-looking alien creature.
Okay.
Uh,
Mr. Jackson.
yeah,
It's like
no,
a
it's
big
actually
old-
no, it's legitimately a cat.
Okay.
So that's why can't I think of his name? They haven't said it in
I
a
said
while. I
Cat
just thought
Williams,
about
and
it.
Now you're picturing that stand up.
No, it's because it's an alien name to begin with, so it's already weird.
Gotcha.
And I think it's also technically a not. They actually don't know if it's a male or a female in the first place, so they just say they,
Gotcha.
because they don't know any others of the
It's
species.
alien. You don't know
And it's
nothing about it.
alien.
Yeah.
It's a big alien cat that can't talk in the first place, so that's the
Gotcha.
thing. But either way, that
Big alien
became
cat that can't talk.
yeah. I mean, it's literally like a giant tiger kind of situation, and
So it's Red 13.
no, because Red
Let's
13
see if
could
you get that
technically talk.
reference.
Red 13
No, he
could
used
technically talk.
He used telekinesis. to
Oh,
talk.
okay. Oh, yeah. Well, kind of hard to know in the original one because it's just text on the screen.
Mhm.
But I think Yule. That's what it is. It's Yule.
I appreciate the fact that you picked up what I was dropping down there.
I know who Red 13 is.
Not
The first
everybody does.
first character you see in Final Fantasy VII. And that's true. Most people wouldn't think about
Yeah,
that.
because he
Yep.
runs out on the
Runs
on
out
the
onto the
street,
thing over the city. Yep. And then
Yep.
roars. But either way, that comic's good. But it'll be interesting to see how they restart this, because they're still in the middle of the Thunder era. So like they haven't even moved on to the Ninja era at all. So it's like they
So every time they redo these stories or revamp them, they still start back at the original MMPR and then work their way forward.
that was the basis to begin with. So like it's still the same stories. They haven't reset the universe. Well, I mean they did, but in a different. They basically fixed it. So Draken rewrote the universe however he wanted. The Rangers put it back with one
And
minor.
Draken was Tommy, right? With, like,
Draken was
everybody's
evil
powers?
Tommy. Yeah,
Okay.
he was the Tommy who stayed with Rita is what happened.
Yeah, he stayed
So-
the Green Ranger,
so
kept
even-
working up from there.
Well, not even stayed, but the fact that he, even after they killed the Sword of Evil that was
Mm-hmm.
corrupting him, he chose to stay with Rita. And then
Gotcha.
from there, they conquered fucking everything. So,
Gotcha.
Draken's an interesting character, and the fact that he's
I always
still
thought
around
that was
is
a cool
interesting.
character design. I've seen him in passing, and I've seen little stills of it
Yeah.
and all that. And I think there's one, I could be misremembering it, and you will be the guy to correct me on this one. But in my head, I'm picturing him sitting on like some kind of like throne-like
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
with like the other Rangers' helmets like
Yeah.
stacked around it like skulls and
Yep,
shit.
that was
Like,
a
I always
that was
thought
one of the
a
covers.
cool
Yep.
looking- I always thought that was a cool fucking picture when I saw that.
Yeah,
shit
because
on
he
there.
he killed.
Everybody.
Well, not everybody, because some he corrupted.
He took out a lot of teams.
Hey, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Well,
Doesn't
yeah.
say when he's leaving. Doesn't say when he's back. What the fuck?
No,
is
he
this?
said when he was
did.
back. He did say he was back.
Oh well, I don't see.
You
I
don't have it
think
open.
that's
Your
true.
screen's black.
Yeah.
So either way, I was talking
Scared
about
the shit out of me.
Rob. I was just talking about the new Rangers comic and how they've picked back up after the big anniversary issue of 100.
Right.
Yeah. So and then we'll get your thoughts on Andor proper here in a minute, because that's where we left off with you.
We should have
So-
saved our pee break for him to talk about Andor.
Yeah, that's what we should have done. Just let him monologue.
Me and you could have ran to the bathroom while he monologued Andor.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So the other thing I got, because you brought it up, was the newest Batman Beyond the White Knight. I think it's issue 6. I could be, it was 5 or 6. I don't remember. And it
Is
was
still good.
of course it's still good. It's fucking phenomenal.
You can't say of course.
They're getting to the wrap up. I think there's only one more left, either one or two more. I can't remember. He said it in the back. I think it might be the finale next time. But something that's interesting, because this is taking place in an alternate universe,
Mhm.
right?
This
so-
one, Alfred died and all that.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Well, no, not in this one.
I
Well,
thought the White Knight.
well,
was
okay,
not-
Alfred did die, but that wasn't in the first one. That was in the second one, I believe. Either way, it doesn't matter. In this one, because we do have Terry McGinnis, who's running around as Batman, but he's working for Derek Powers at this point,
shit.
not Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne was in jail.
And Derek Powers is Blight, right?
Derek
Isn't that
Powers
correct?
is now Blight.
Oh, he's in the comics now too.
Yeah, so he was already there,
yeah.
but he hadn't got his powers. They did it in the last episode, or the last issue. They made him Blight And then this one, they did the whole, he lays down in the thing and they give him like the fake skin shit, all that, like almost right out of the fucking cartoon.
That's awesome.
And then Sean Murphy did promise that somebody would die in this issue, and somebody does die right at the end.
Anybody of consequence, though?
It was somebody of major consequence.
Huh? Spoil away.
It was Master Grayson.
Oh, they killed Dick Grayson?
Dick Grayson jumps in the way of the blast meant for Bruce.
Wow.
Blight was trying to shoot Bruce, and well, he wasn't Nightwing, he was in his GTO outfit. But they show in the, because one thing they always do, and I love it design-wise with this comic, they always show their shadows as who they really are. So Bruce always has a Batman shadow. Jack Napier always has the Joker shadow. It's a little bit less obvious, but Dick always has the like Nightwing shadow, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And the thing is, like, Terry McGinnis is on the run right now after what happened, after he found out the truth about Derek Powers. Like, they ended up hacking into the system at Wayne Tech, and they found out that it was like an FBI contract. They're actually using all the bat tech to build out like super soldier program for the U.S. government, all this kind of stuff, not just Gotham. So they basically want to just roll out what the new like GPD force with the bat tanks and the bat armor and all this kind of stuff, give it to the world, or give it to the FBI, give it to everybody like that to do this. And it was Terry's dad who found that out, and that's why Derek Powers had him killed in this one. But of course he told Terry that he died because of Bruce Wayne. So, you know, so we had Batman on Batman crime for an issue. And the cool thing is, like, Bruce is running around in the predecessor to the Terry McGinnis suit. So like,
so like the one he had at the very beginning of Batman Beyond.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the same one. So like, he just took it off and Terry put it on. The one he's currently wearing was literally like the prototype of that suit. Has slightly less tech, doesn't have the invisibility stuff, but like he repainted it to be like, because he didn't want everybody to realize he was Batman. Plus, he doesn't want to be known as Batman. So like, it had a bright yellow bat on the chest. It's a black suit with bright yellow, and he like painted out over that with black, and like he put on a trench coat instead of a cape. So, but it flaps in the wind like a cape, and he has a half helmet with no cowl. So it looks pretty cool, and he's got like a lot of the tech. And in this one, we got Jason. You know, Jason Todd came back. Of course, he's dealing with fucking Dick Grayson at the beginning of it, along with Gunn, you know, his sidekick, his Robin. And in this one, they even say, it's like, Barbara says, I'm trying to put together a team to help deal with this. So they're literally trying to bring in like anybody who's any remaining Bat family. And in this one, Barbara, of course, did not marry Bruce because he was in jail, but she did marry Dick.
How would she have married? When the fuck did she supposed to marry Bruce? What the fuck are y'all doing to my Batman?
You don't remember that in Batman Beyond? She tells Terry
she needed the wheelchair. She really got around.
Yeah.
Womp womp womp.
Whatever. No, it was.
No, I don't remember. I remember she was the commissioner in Batman Beyond. She was
and she tells, lady. I don't remember and she tells Terry that they had been married for a while. They weren't married at the time. They got divorced, but it didn't work out between them. So, but Bruce in this series is married to someone, and they finally kind of hash that out in this before they go into kind of the quote unquote final battle. So,
who was it? Selena?
No, Selena's not around in this.
Good.
But somebody else who had her own kind of standalone comic in this series. No, it's fucking Harley.
Oh, I love it. I have always said that since day one. I got 2 tattoos with Batman and Harley Quinn intertwined on them.
Yeah.
I've always said that those were the 2 that should have got together in the comics.
So they had a fight earlier. Ooh. They had a fight earlier in the series where they got married so that she couldn't testify against him.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, look, I've always loved you. It's like, I love Jack for who he was. I love the Joker, but I've always loved you as well. And in the last issue, to get out of where they were, Jack took over Bruce's body. and got them out of there and got back to the Batcave, and then got to have a final conversation with Harley.
Dude, I fucking love it. And
Yeah.
that was going to be my question that I brought up while you were talking about the PPR or MMPR.
Just say Power Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make life easy.
Was, do you know, have they already, or are they planning on making a trade paperback of these anytime soon? Because that's how I collect now. I don't.
Yeah,
think
they do it like every 5 issues or so. They do trade paperbacks.
And you think they'll do the one big one, the omnibus and all that?
Well, they're doing the collections as it goes. That's what I'm buying. So I'm waiting on the Go-Go Power Rangers.
Not for NPR, for the White Knight stuff.
Oh, White Knight, yeah, they do it. They do trade paperbacks and they do the hardcovers every time.
Okay,
it's just worth getting the hardcovers. Yeah, just wait for it.
I collect the good ones on hardcover.
Yeah. So I've got all of them. I've got everything so far on all the hardcovers.
How many hardcovers do they have out now?
4. One of them's a repeat.
Issues already?
So, so the original Batman the White Knight, then the Curse of the White Knight, then the Harley Quinn, and then now this. So this is the 4th chunk of the story.
Beyond.
Yeah, White Knight Beyond. So I've got the first 3. I've got the original deluxe one. So that's just, Batman the White Knight. And then I've got the non-deluxe, because they didn't make a deluxe version of Curse of the White Knight for some fucking reason. Then they made a deluxe version of Harley Quinn. And then, they made a regular Harley Quinn. They released the deluxe version of, God, which one did I just get? Oh, that was Curse of the White Knight. Okay, so I just got the deluxe version of Curse of the White Knight that also included the Von Freeze side story as well. So that's why I bought that other hardcover. I was like,
so I can backtrack and find these pretty simply, though?
Should be able to, but I mean, it's been like 2 years since the first one, so you gotta hope for a reprint. Check Amazon. That's where I got mine. So, and then, and yeah, the Beyond will have a hardcover for sure, and I'll definitely get that.
That's what I've been meaning to ask you, like every single show, because that's how I collect those big story arcs now. It's just in the TPBs. And I had forgot to ask you.
See, I mentioned at some point, isn't it annoying when? Oh no, I didn't say it here. That was during, I think, one of Joe's live streams. That's what it was. I mentioned when you have hardcover collections, and then for some reason, even though it's the same story being published by the same people, you got one book that's the wrong fucking size for no reason. Yep. That's what happened with this one. They're different sizes. But that's because
that's annoying.
Well, that's because some of them are deluxes. Well, it's because some of them are deluxes and some are not. So hopefully they'll release the deluxe of the one that's missing, and I'll buy that one too. So I'll just have them intermixed, and then that's how it goes. So like the deluxe version of this one, the Beyond, would include the Red Hood 2-issue side story, whereas it probably wouldn't be in there in the regular version. But hopefully they just go straight to deluxe. But either way, great. It's a great book. I love it. I love everything about it. I love that they're including so much of the story, that we already know, and then adding to the universe in such a great way. And I love it at one point, because Joker's in his head at this point. He's an AI chip in his head.
In Batman's head?
Yes.
So
he didn't know
Joker is alive in real life, Napier, and he's also in his head.
No, Joker's been dead for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joker / Jack Napier has been dead for a while, but since the beginning of this series, after he broke out of jail, he didn't know, but he has a fucking chip in his head that has an AI consciousness of a combo of Jack, like the perfect balance of Jack and the Joker. Like he looks like Jack, but he's got like the eyes are weird, the hair is weird, the outfit is a mix of the two of them. It's pretty cool. It's a balance, I should say. Perfect balance, as all things should be. Why'd you turn your camera on all of a sudden?
Well, I was trying to do it low key.
You can't.
I'm just going to show you.
I had to bring it up.
My newest thing that I've been working on while we were talking. I said I was taping.
Yeah.
I was going to show y'all. So I already started with this.
Oh, you're working on He-Man already?
And I just finished this.
He-Man?
Yeah. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't brag on myself much, but like, you see how intricate I can get on there.
Yeah, you need to get the Tamiya like really small masking tape. Make your life easy.
Nope. Look, doing it with fucking 1 inch.
I know.
1 inch.
Dude, they have 2 mil. They have 2 mil tape.
1 inch,
just buy some.
an X-Acto, and a spudger.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Just get 2 mil. Get the 2 mil. Make your life easy. I've got the 8 mil, 6 mil, and the 2 mil. It's
Right.
just it's real
But
nice for doing a
that's
lot
what
of
I'm working
masking.
on. I just wanted to show you all. I was trying to do it low
Heman.
key so you keep
He's
talking.
doing Heman. It's fine.
Mm.
But either way, that's pretty much where I left off. I've just been basically waiting for those comics to drop here and there. Oh, I haven't read yet, but I got issue 3 and 4 of that Dark Messiah comic from Disturbed. Which I
didn't
think
know they were making a
they made a
comic.
whole comic about their Disturbed has the guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
But if it doesn't start out with wah, I don't want to read it.
it might have.
Okay.
But either way, it's a very Ghost Rider-y type
Of course.
thing. It's a Spirit of Vengeance.
Well, if
type
anybody's
thing.
ever listened to Disturbed and seen their albums, you already know who the guy is. It's the fucking Grim Reaper.
The guy. Yeah. Literally, that's what they call him. But basically, like the story follows it. It's very Ghost Rider. It's very Spawn. It's fine.
Gotcha.
And of course,
It's horror
it's
superhero
penned by Capullo, so it looks like
Awesome.
Spawn too. So it's pretty good. I haven't read it yet. I still haven't read. I still haven't finished reading. We Have Demons. And I was really into that. I just got sidetracked. I just haven't read it all. It was a really interesting story. I just didn't get through it. But I haven't talked comics in so long. I forgot that I had all this shit laying around. Oh, and I accidentally bought duplicates because I bought shit online and then I went to the store like while I was waiting,
Saw it in
and I didn't
person.
realize I bought duplicates because I couldn't remember which covers I ordered.
Ugh.
I was like, oh well, fuck it. I'll just take it back. Get store credit, swap it out 1 week. So either way, I think that essentially wraps me up. I mean, the only other thing I got in was this new microphone and stand.
And
Which
it does sound really good though.
yeah, I have not been able to hear my own playback yet, so hopefully it sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna lean in like this and just be like.
You could have listened to the voice message you sent in the group.
No, I did do that, but I mean that's just
what you
that.
sound like.
Okay, well, I mean, it sounds good then. So
That's your
you still sound good.
So, well, the thing is, like, the main key, well, because you weren't here last night when we were testing it, Rob. You know what you don't hear?
Anything else?
Anything else? Like,
Yeah.
I can't hear traffic. You don't know what it's like. Like, my old microphone, when we're doing this or I'm live streaming or anything, all I can hear is traffic. I can hear everything else happening in the apartment, even with the gain all the way down. It's just that strong. And even now,
we tested it with like Miss Jessica came home. She stood over the door and tried to talk. You could barely. It sounded like a whisper.
Well,
coming from down a hallway.
you could barely hear her. I could hear her okay, but that's different. That's me hearing through my own headphones on this end on my own monitor. So, but the thing is like I really wanted us to be able to do multiple people without having to try to figure out the hardest way possible to get the microphone between us, which is what happened the other night for a live stream. This stand will be a blessing for that reason. If nothing else, if I do a live stream like that, this new stand I got, I can just transfer my Blue Yeti over to it and it'll work perfect for that without having to be in the way. But I'm just happy, it works nice. It's the same brand that I got you guys at the same time, and I have the same. That's
you
five.
Didn't get me anything, asshole.
I didn't get it for you. I told you about it, but then
Listen, I paid him back already.
Yeah, he paid me back instantly.
That wasn't even about you, Rob.
Yeah, but I remember the one thing I didn't think about was that I need another set of headphones, so that we can if I'm gonna have multiple people in here. So I need to remember. I think I got these from Best Buy. I think they're HyperX. They're really good. I like them better than the old crappy ones I got from before. So either way, damn, we've been going for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, but
we've still got so much to do. So, all right, Rob, we're gonna go ahead. We'll insert your thoughts on Andor back in your other section.
It's supposed to be,
or I won't.
So
it depends if you agree with us or not.
I actually do. So I unfortunately wasn't. I'll have to go back and listen. But I personally thought, like, okay, you all. I specifically said in our chat,
yeah,
Andor has definitely changed my mind, and I completely go back on my comments.
No, what you said was thank you, Shoky. You fucking asshole. Fuck Ricky.
Actually, what he said was Shoky was right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. We'll use this as a show. Actually, both of you were right because you both said the same thing, and that it is a very in-depth
spy drama.
Star Wars spy drama. It is designed in a way that you are fleshing out an entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it took it really does that to a very good extent. Like even if you think like, oh, well, this is just a simple backdrop. Oh, it's Coruscant. Oh, it's this. You got to really look at it and look at the details of what they're putting into this universe and what they're giving us as kind of, it's not nostalgia, it's just gimmies of this universe.
Yeah.
And it really does harken also back to the books. And I've actually been reading
Sorry.
Quite quickly through some of the it's the Fate of the Jedi books.
Yep.
These are the ones that are basically about 40 years after Return of the Jedi. They are not considered the current canon. They are considered original, original expanded universe.
It's out of canon until they want it to be back in
correct.
It's legends.
But you get that same idea that this is you have this universe that is way bigger than what you think it is. You have a character who initially doesn't seem to have the impetus to be who he becomes.
He's like
as
a
we see in like Rogue
at the beginning.
One.
Okay,
yeah,
so like episode 1, episode 2, except for the obvious one time he actively kills somebody and is immediately regretful. He's like a scumbag who owns people money. Like he's borrowing money to go, I guess, because he wants to go find his sister, so he's investing all that money into trying to find her. Right. And then like he's just treated as this piece of shit. And
suddenly he finds like everybody around him is actually involved in something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was reminded recently about like I think it was in episode 1 when he encounters that one dude who's hitting him up for money, and then he's got like that giant alien dude with him, and then he pulls a Bugs Bunny on him, and I was like, it's so fucking funny, and I forgot that happened. Because the bigger alien's kind of dumb, and he literally talks him into doing shit with the other guy. And he's like, okay, and like using his wit,
exactly.
Always trying to find a way out of a situation, which is great for this character. And we've seen so much of that, especially the last couple episodes, where things really have hit the fan.
Andor doesn't exactly come across as like
he's not a lovable rogue. He's just a rogue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
He's not a scoundrel.
Like most people in his life don't like him, so he needs to get K2SO eventually, so someone will fucking like him.
Well, even K2SO doesn't like him. We talk shit to him all the time.
Well, yeah, but we talk shit to each other and we like each other.
Right.
He's his friend. Right. That's the thing. K2SO is definitely his friend.
I definitely enjoyed that. I've also it's I cannot wait for more, for sure.
Yes.
By the way, I think I mentioned it the last time.
Are you caught up all the way? Like you saw the prison episode?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking about that while you were gone. And like the Andy Serkis inclusion as like the boss prisoner kind of. I love the idea like you won't see those guys again because I'm in charge on this floor or I'm in this sector. And like I kind of like the idea, people brought this up, that the prison is basically, well, it's not even really a prison, it's
the inmates running the asylum. Plant.
Well, not even that, it's that they're building parts for the Death Star.
Oh yeah.
So like, well, even by this point, the Death Star should be like almost perfectly complete. I mean, it's only a few years till it's active, and we saw the framework was essentially
5 years.
So either way, the idea that they're making the same. Oh, I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking about it, Ricky. So remember, he talked about how they're basically manufacturing stuff on each floor, and so like I think how that big thing raises out of their table to like little. Three-way thing. I think that's actually being made on the floor below them and being sent up.
It's assembly line style.
Yeah, but like it's a vertical assembly line. Yeah. So it's like I thought it's like they're not casting this. Where's this coming from? Nobody's bringing thing in. So it's like where did this come from?
Smelting shit on the
something
bottom
down below. Yeah,
sending it all up, and then by the last level on top is probably where they insert all the electronics and attach it to whatever's going to be attached.
If those are electronics, it looks more structural. Yeah. But it looks like
saying that
it looks
like something like that.
Yeah, because it looks similar to like there's certain joints that we build on Gundam.
Oh, I guarantee very similar. I guarantee you, somebody on the internet has already looked up exactly what part of the fucking Death Star that motherfucker is.
People have tried, as far as I know. But what would be interesting is if what they were building were the Universal Greeblies. Wouldn't that be funny? Like they're building the Universal Greebly and they don't even know it. Like that should have been what it was. Now hold on, I got to think about this. What does the Universal Greebly look like? because that might be a part of it. Because that would be hilarious if that's what they were doing the whole time. Like we're going super deep Star Wars, and they're like he's in a manufacturing plant that is manufacturing the Greeblies for everything.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. But I was also
at first, when I first saw it, the thing it made me think of was the probe droids. I don't know why it did, but in my head is like my head was trying to attach like the different arms to the different cross sections of it and all that. It reminded me of a like what I think the internals of a probe droid would look like.
You know what I just thought about? I didn't realize, because this is a quote unquote prequel, but the TIE fighters are perfectly normal already. The ones we saw, I was like, oh yeah, didn't consider. Obviously, TIE fighters would be around by now.
Well, we're what, 15 years post episode 3 at this point?
Give or take, probably like closer to 12. You know,
so they've probably worked out all their TIE fighter shit by now.
Well, I mean, it would have been developed by now, you know. But also, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like part of the wings on the TIE fighter, like the part that connects like at the corner or something. Just looking at it, but yeah, I think it would be hilarious if it was Universal Greebly.
That would be an old school callback to some. That would be awesome for Star Wars fans.
Do you know what the vibe I get though? Like from this chunk of the story, like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Because well, one, there's like an old black dude telling him a lot of the stuff, but like the idea, like you get like the Brooks character. You can no, because you get like the Brooks character. You get the what was Morgan Freeman's character's name? And Red. You get the Red character. It took me a second. I got there. So like you kind of get that, and like there's no real guards at this level, technically speaking. They're just automate everything at this point. But yeah, it's just we're gonna just.
Then I want to know who's the sisters in this show.
I don't think it matters.
I dare them to show that shit.
Yeah, I honestly don't even think it'll matter. Oh, you know what I thought was funny? So
do you know what reference I'm making from Shawshank?
Yes.
Okay.
So the
okay.
That's why I said I don't think it matters. But the because in this universe nobody cares. Anyways, and Luthen's assistant, you know, the dark-haired chick.
Yeah.
When they kind of got into it at the beginning of the episode, I think it was this episode, and he yells at her. I thought he called her Leia, and then I found out her name. I think her name is Clea.
Leah,
like it's close. It's like one letter off, but like I was like, and then I thought about it. It's like she does look like Leia. I was like, hold on, wait, no, this wouldn't make any sense. She's too old.
Going crazy over there, folks.
Well, no, because I misheard him because it's a very soft consonant, so it didn't come across. I had to look it
Leia
up.
Wouldn't be on Coruscant.
I know. Well, yeah, she'd be on Alderaan at this point. I was like, no, they're not. Well, first of all, I was pissed. I was like, no, you're not bringing in Leia here because she doesn't come into the story till Rogue One. I know, yes, she was active before then, but like it would make no sense for her to be where she is now and look this old, so to speak. I was like, she would only be 16. No, she'd be like 12 right now. You know, so that'd be fucking stupid. So no, it's like that. I misheard, and then I was like, I had to go confirm. I was like, who the fuck? What is the character's name? And there's two characters in this show who have very similar names, and they both sound like Leia. I was like, oh,
Miss Cleo.
So they're literally like throwing it out there to like keep it in the back of your brain. So nice. And guys who don't know why you're not hearing Rob, even though it's supposed to be Rob's section, Rob just had to disappear again.
Again, Jesus.
Yeah, you didn't see the chat. He's not just being quiet. We're talking over him. He literally said he got a call again. He said he's going to scream. So Rob's going to scream whenever Rob comes back. So eventually he'll get to do he'll do his week while we're talking about our actual main topics, which
he did his week.
Oh, he did his week. That's right. We're talking about Andor. Shows. That's right. Okay, so you do yours since we're good there.
What, my week?
Yeah, whatever you got going on.
What did I do? Lots of work, of course, per usual. Baseball. The boys are still in first place. They're 5-1.
Good.
They haven't lost since that one game. So that's still going good for them.
Turn your head towards the mic.
Oh, well, I'm away from it because I was taping. Sorry.
Yeah. You're too quiet.
So they're doing good on their baseball still. We have a game tonight, and then Thursday night, and then I think next week is our last week, or the week after. Like we're getting close to the end of the season.
Speaking of baseball, fucking World Series, man.
Yeah,
the Astros made me sad the other day.
We already had this.
I know. I was
Fuck
just
that
sad when they lost.
No.
Oh, also, I want to interject ever so quietly now. My NECA Wolfman is like slowly trying to take a shelf dive. I'm like watching him. It's almost like he knows I'm watching, so he stopped.
Like the old school Wolfman, the Lon Chaney Wolfman.
The Lon Chaney Wolfman.
Right.
He's literally leaning like I can't turn the camera to show it. Maybe I can take a picture and
Dude,
put it in the chat. Hold on.
He's doing.
Hold on. I gotta take a picture of this so you can
the
see.
smooth criminal lean.
Yes. Hold on. I gotta do this because it's so funny. Like, oh, I'm zoomed in too far. There we go. I'll put it in the chat, but it's funny. He's literally like working his way to his next shelf dive.
That's funny.
Where can I? Oh, I don't want to come into the chat because it'll be there. It'll be in the main discussion. He's literally like he's leaning far more forward than he was. It's kind of funny. It's like from that angle, it's not as obvious, but from where I'm looking, like his head is in front of the mummy's hand. Like he's just like those feet suck on that thing because he's got the like doggy feet, like he's up on his toes.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to swap out.
Feet.
Yeah. So I want to swap it out because they only give you one tiny little thing for him to stand on, but I put him on a bigger action base, and like he's
What you
still
could do
wants
is
to
you
fall.
could always you could steal it from like the Mummy or whatever, the one that actually stands good without the stand. You could steal it from one of them and just have him on two.
Well, I mean, I have the bigger ones. I have the bigger round ones, but there's just the fact that he's got such a tiny little foot space. You know, I almost want to swap out for one human leg just for the hell of it, and just so he'll stand better on one foot. I've even got him standing on the little bear trap that he comes with, like to try to keep that 1 foot stable, but he's still very slowly falling. Him and Hamato Yoshi just never want to stay on the fucking shelf. And April O'Neil still falling over. Always. I got an April sandwich between two Casey's.
We're getting there.
That's the way it should be. The sword.
The sword. And then I got the axe handle taped up.
Yeah, hopefully his plastic is okay, so you don't have an issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to find out. Again, it's just a retail figure that's readily available. So I'm testing it now before it sells out.
Who releases those? Is that
Mattel?
Is it Mattel? Okay, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure Mattel. Hold on. I got the box right here.
Hey, that's my first burp into the new mic.
Yeah, it's Mattel.
Ah, yeah. Makes sense.
Actually, I want to get... Oh, man.
Oh, by the way, I saw that figure in store. It does look really good.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but EE got one. There was a con exclusive a couple months ago of a 2-pack with him and Skeletor. And the weapons are all metal. It comes with the comic book and yada. It's the same exact figure, just the weapons are metallized. It comes with slightly more hand swaps, I think. It's frocked, the loincloth and the top of the boots. But I want it because of the Skeletor, because Skeletor looks amazing. And he was looking at it in his package. He's like, man, it looks fucked up. Like his head was all like elongated looking. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know about that, dude. It might be this. And so he kept going and looked to it. He finally got to it. It is. He has a hinged jaw on the Skeletor.
Nice.
So you can actually open and close his mouth for the laugh or to close it for the evil look. Like I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta find this thing so bad now. And they're not expensive. I think it retailed at 80 or 90 and they're like 110, 120 on eBay. So it's not bad. Now
it's not ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need it.
So I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on that one.
I'm going to have my Iron Studios He-Man and I'll be good.
Yeah.
Although they keep showing off more Motu statues and I'm like...
Did you get into that Mondo Cat?
Did
you get in on the Mondo Battle Cat?
No. Like I said, I don't collect He-Man stuff. I just want the Iron Studios statue. That's all I want.
Dude, first of all, it was fucking huge. Like it just ended, I think, last night or the night. It ended the day after the HasLab ended.
No shit.
But it was like $500 or $600. But the thing is the size of a full-grown house cat. Like it's fucking huge. And we were looking at it, and it had the armor, like the saddle part. For Battle Cat. It's articulated on the neck piece, so it does not hinder the articulation of the cat underneath it.
Awesome. Like that's the way it should be.
It's fucking
speaking of which, so crossover topic there. With all of the Motu statues that Iron Studio has shown off, they have not shown off a Battle Cat yet, which is weird.
Because they'll make a statue with He-Man on Battle Cat eventually.
Maybe there's like
because they can't sell them separate because they don't slap a statue on top of another statue.
No, they would just have them off to the side like all the other characters because they all sort of work together in a diorama. and the same
Right.
with
Kinda
Thundercats
like
too.
your,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
your
yeah.
Thunder- yeah.
They like them to be able to fit together. So like, I really thought about getting the Sorceress because like she would go like really well next to He-Man, and she's short. Like her overall statue is shorter than him. On with the Castle Grayskull. And then I thought about just getting Man at Arms on the other side. But if they do a Battle Cat, then I would do that. But it's like I don't need to spend more money right now, so I'm not pre-ordering those things. Because frankly, the Iron Studio stuff is not exactly disappearing from BBTS, except for the Ninja Turtles that I want. I wanted that Ninja Turtle set.
That Mondo one was next level, dude. It had like 3 head swaps. The armor's fully removable and articulated. Cat's fully removable and articulated, the size of an actual house cat. It came with a articulated Cringer form, which is obviously smaller. So it's like the size of an
so wait, it actually has a separate Cringer?
Yes, a whole separate Cringer.
Shit,
like, and
that's
it's like
different.
the size of a kitten. Like it was ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Like the amount of stuff it came with. You had to look up the Mondo Battle Cat.
I will after.
Look at the box. It came with a fuck ton of stuff, but it was like $500. It wasn't cheap by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I mean, it's essentially a Batmobile at that point.
Yeah, it's great. Like if I was that into He-Man, that would be the route I would go, the Mondo route, because all I would need is He-Man and Battle Cat, Skeletor and Panther. That's all I need. I wouldn't need the whole run of them all.
Can we get Panthro riding Panther?
I mean, I would do it at least for one picture.
I think it would look funny.
Yeah, but actually, I can do that. I forgot. I can do that.
You can do that. Yeah,
I have the classics Panther. I forgot about that. So yeah, I can do that. You shall receive a picture later today, sir.
Okay.
It might be a penis. It might be Panther on a Panther. You'll never know until you open it.
Panther on a Panther. That I know what the name of this episode's gonna be.
It might be a penis. It might be a Panther.
No, it's just gonna be a Panther on a Panther. Damn, I can't even say it now. Panther on a Panther.
Or a penis.
No, we don't need. Well, we had cocks in the last one. We don't need penis in this title.
Well, penis is a medical term, so I don't think you get in trouble for that.
In theory.
You would think so.
There we go. Mondo Battle Cat. Actually, I think I've seen the. Oh, it's a 1/6. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why he's so big.
It's like Hot Toy scaled. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I did see this originally when it was posting. Because it looks familiar. Whoa, Google changed their interface. I hate when they do updates, like since you last looked at something and there's an update and you never knew. Oh, because I remember that. Yeah, I remember that He-Man too. That He-Man's badass.
Now, He-Man's sold separate, though.
I know, but I'm just saying. No, I remember seeing this. We talked about it before. It looks fucking insane.
It was nuts. And then having, again, a fully articulated Cringer.
Oh, I love the cartoon Cringer face.
Yep.
That is cool. And no, that's legitimately like a kitten. That is actually a little kitten Cringer. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
It's a full.
I thought you meant. No, I thought you meant like they had like the larger Battle Cat and then like a slightly smaller Cringer. That's like a baby Cringer. That's
That's why I said the Battle Cat's the size of a house cat and the Cringer's the size of a kitten. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
so
the wording made me believe it was 2 separate Cringer
You see this?
I see a shield. Yes. I see an ox.
Do you see it painted?
You're literally painting this shit while sitting here. It's
Yep.
pretty bad. Even I won't build while we're talking because I'll get distracted.
No, I can chew gum and walk.
Yeah. Well, I can't paint in here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm on the back.
Like me that gets distracted by other people calling.
I mean,
and now I literally have like a minute before the next call. I told you.
Fuck that next call.
We're glad you came back.
No, you said you had a big, huge block today and nothing was going to happen, and that went away.
Yeah, well, Tuesday.
All right, so check it out.
Check
it out, Dormammu. So that's the He-Man shield. So you can see the gray plastic. I just painted the X.
Nice.
That was the same gray plastic
with this Rust-Oleum.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that shit is super. Like even in video and pictures, it doesn't do justice to how shiny this metallic paint is, man. It's fucking crazy.
Do you know who Bruno is from MMPR Toys? You ever heard of him?
I've heard of Bruno Mars.
Okay, so no.
I've heard of. So you're talking about Bruno that Sacha Baron Cohen plays?
No. So either way, it's basically the largest Power Rangers channel on YouTube.
I definitely don't know who that is.
So either way,
because in my world, you're the largest Power Ranger YouTube channel I pay attention to.
So the thing is, like, whenever he does repaints for his Megazords or figures, he uses Rust-Oleum, and then like for small details, he uses Gundam markers.
Well,
so
that's
same difference for him. So
I'm painting them with this, and then I go in there. I'll hand paint and wash it, I use Apple Barrel or I
Apple
can't remember what the
Barrel
other one
jeans.
is. Some other paint, but I'll use those.
Well, of course,
to
Apple Barrel's not
hand
going to do
paint.
anything because that's acrylics.
Yeah, but I'll use that for like the wraps and like highlighting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because you want to do any weathering with acrylics, any washes with acrylics, so they don't affect anything.
Yes, sir. I'm not like huge into it. I'm still kind of new to the painting, but this is when my OCD kicks in a positive ways with stuff like this.
Yeah. Okay, so
like I was talking about it with JD one day, and he starts saying, "Oh, you're doing this kind of painting and that kind of technique and this." I'm like, "Sure, if you say so. I don't fucking know."
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Like I have paint.
See,
this is the color I want. That's where I want it at. That's where I painted at.
This is why you need Gundams.
Yeah,
You'd have fun.
Probably, but I would only want to do one.
Nah, you'd want more. It happens.
But I mean, I don't, because I'm not big into Gundams, so I just want the one.
But you can be.
Yeah, it could be Short, Skinny, and Black.
There's a whole new series that you could be watching right now.
Could be, but I'm not.
It's
here with
online.
you, lovely gents.
Yep. Either way.
All right, so Rob, you need to talk before your next fucking phone call.
Actually, I think he's already on that phone.
Oh my fucking Christ! He's already gone.
He literally said a minute. That's what he meant. So that's why. Okay. So continue with your week. Is there anything? I mean, because watching wise, is there anything you watched that wasn't related to everything else we watch?
Yeah, okay, so I think I've spoke about it on here before, but my wife hates horror movies. She's huge anxiety issues and gets scared by literally anything. Like, she'll have night terrors.
Nice.
And like, I give you a couple examples. One, she woke me up in the middle of the night yelling at me for falling asleep watching a scary movie. And I'm like, I wasn't watching a scary movie. She's like, guess how I woke up to people screaming and dying. I'm like, I was watching a military movie. They were getting shot. You know?
Oh, you fell asleep watching the movie. I thought you meant she fell asleep watching the movie.
No, okay, I messed that up. I wasn't asleep. I was watching it. She was asleep. She woke up yelling at me for the scary movie, and I was watching a military movie. I wasn't watching a horror movie. I was watching like 13 hours or some shit. Yeah. But that's one thing. And then another one was where I come in from, I park in the garage, and where I come in from my garage goes to the laundry room, and then you go out to the living room, and then our bedroom's off the living room.
Sure.
Well, when I come in, I'm like, hey, babe, I do like the whole Ricky and Lucy, I'm home, babaloo. Like, I do all that kind of goofy shit coming in the house, right?
Makes sense.
And so I'm like, babe, I'm here. And when I come in from my laundry room, if you look across the living room to the opposite direction of our bedroom, you're actually looking into our dining room. And she has her desk set up in the back corner. So literally from my laundry room, I can look straight to her desk. That's usually where she's at when she's home, because she's working. And I looked over, I didn't see her there. So I looked over to the bedroom, and the door was kind of closed. I was like, oh, she must be in the bathroom or something. So I'm like, hey, babe, I'm here. And I'm walking while I'm talking to the bedroom door. And as I go to open the bedroom door, she, I guess, was from the other side, was trying to open the bedroom door, but she had her face in the phone. And so I opened the door, and I'm like, babe, I'm here. She went, threw her phone across the room, jumped in the air, came down. We had those handles that are like, they're not knobs, they're like the little bars you turn down.
Yes.
She landed on her coccyx. Like, her coccyx hit that handle on the way down, and she was on the floor crying because she bruised her tailbone.
She jumped that fucking high.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
And bruised her tailbone and was laying on the ground crying. And then she tried to get mad at me. Like, I'm down there making sure she's okay. She's like, why? Scared me. She started getting mad at me. I'm like, I've been yelling your name since I walked through the fucking door. What are you talking about scaring you? Well, I didn't hear you. I was on my phone. I was like, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. Do I need to take you to the doctors or anything? Like, so she's that kind of jumpy and scary. Like, we can literally be watching a movie together, like with the kids, like not even a scary movie, like a kid's Halloween movie or something. And I'm sitting right next to her on the couch, and I just turn my head and I go, boo. She'll jump, like scared jump, like from her seat. Okay. Like, she does not pay attention. So I can't watch scary movies. I say all that to say this, that the only time I get away with watching scary movies is one, if I go out with friends to the theater, two, if she's not home. I can't even watch them while she's in the house if she's awake. Like, I cannot watch them in the room. If she's awake and in the room and I'm in the living room, she hears it. It's still the same thing. Like, she literally has night terrors from them. So last night she was knocked the fuck out, like dead to the world. So I went out in the living room and I watched Scream. I hadn't seen Scream in forever, and Paramount Plus has 1, 2, 3, and 4 on there. So I put them all on my playlist and decided to start watching them. So that's one thing I watched that we didn't talk about. I continued more on The Expanse. Pinkerton's super proud of me for moving through that. He
Oh
loves
yeah, I
the
need
fact
I
that
need
I'm
to get
watching
on
that.
that.
That is a good show. I'm not as far as I thought I was. Like I literally thought I was like in season 3 or 4, and I think I'm only in season 2 or maybe the very beginning of season 3. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But I thought I was way further, and I'm really not. What else did I watch? Anything of consequence other than that? Watched Andor. Finished House of Dragons. Was House of Dragons done last time we talked?
Yes.
Yeah, because we talked about the ending. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was already done. Other than that, work, baseball, and finally fucking around with painting some figures.
So speaking of House of the Dragon, George R. R. Martin is of course talking about the series because I tend to forget he actually wrote that book.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. But because it is a book he actually finished, he is talking about it, and he feels that they can easily get 4 seasons out of it. And after watching a video about like, you know, what's to come, yeah, they could get 4 seasons out of this.
Like the Dance of the Dragons and all that
Yeah,
shit.
so the thing is, like, one thing I misunderstood is that there's a gap of time after the Dance of the Dragons kind of culminates, like, so like the war itself, like where most of the battles get fought, is over a decent amount of time, but then there's a good amount of time after that before the like last major events happen. So I spoiled the fuck out of myself yesterday.
You do that all the time, dude.
Well, this is one of
fucking videos.
Well, this is one of those series where I want to know more. I don't necessarily want to know everything, but apparently, the quote unquote ending of this show was spoiled way back in Game of Thrones itself, like spoken straight up as to what happens. So like if you missed that scene, then you're golden. If you watch that scene, you know exactly where this is going. But like I was mistaken about certain actions that happen over time, but that's just because I was going by basic information instead of detailed information. So like now I know what's going. But the thing is, if it does take till 2024 for season 2, everyone's gonna fucking forget. And I hope
they won't.
I hope it doesn't take that long, because that would be ridiculous. Because like 2 years between a modern fucking HBO series when there's
Game of Thrones had a couple gaps in it.
Yeah, but Game of Thrones also didn't deal with like small children that needed to be on screen. So like if they go that long,
we know they don't have to worry about one of them.
Yeah. Well, like there are like small children involved in the main parts of the story coming up, and it's like everybody's going to be aged the fuck out before we get there. And like you can't be replacing the entire fucking cast at this point, because like some of them are
de-age them all.
Yeah, they're gonna have to de-age a couple of them because like they still need to be on screen for a little bit, you know. But like hopefully it won't take that long. That's the rumors. It's going to take till 2024. I think if they tried, they could get it out this time next year. That's assuming that's how the filming schedule went. It's like, why would you not film seasons 1 and season 2 back to back? Because the same characters have to be on screen for a certain amount of time. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, see, I think they could easily get 4 seasons out of it. Judging by the amount, I thought it was going to be a much shorter story, but that's why they rushed, is because everything that happens from here on out is happening.
A lot.
Yeah, but it's like it's also happening like in a decent amount of time close together versus large time gaps that happened. Like the stuff like we talked about last time we got together, we talked about the like episode 1 of season 2, like a lot of the shit that's probably going to happen. But then like so much shit goes on even beyond that. It's like, okay. And I feel like what's going to happen, the way the show will wrap up, like after the final things have happened. Yes, it's updating us on your painting.
Quit saying it, jackass. I'm doing it quietly for a reason.
Yeah, that's fine. They're going to always call it out. You show me things on camera, I'm going to react. So like, I think what they'll end on is like some type of animation of like the family tree leading all the way up to Game of Thrones, basically. Like, you know, show the line of the family line from here on out, which I looked at in a more detailed view yesterday. I have it on my phone, like the actual Targaryen family line from the Conquering all the way down to Jon Snow.
Let's correct that. You have a fan made.
No, well you got to think that's already been laid out. Like that has been laid out. Like it has. So like,
but Dickface left a lot of holes in it too.
Well, the versions that I mean, it's a fan drawn one, yes, but it's based off of the actual thing. Like the thing is, like you're basing it off of the Game of Thrones books. That information comes from the one we're referencing now for this show.
Right.
So Blood and Fire does have the actual lineage family tree from at least from the conquering of Westeros down. So like you see everyone is like, oh, that's how these families, like, 'cause they brought up, like in the last episode, they brought up how the Baratheons are tied together with Rhaenyra and even Rhaenys, and I was like, oh, that's where they come in, because the one I looked at before was only Targaryens and not the married in families. So I was like, oh, that's where Baratheon comes in and then disappears and then comes back, and it's like, oh, huh, that's crazy. It's like, okay, and then you mix in some other families, and the cool thing is it actually showed the oh so rumored Blackfire Rebellion as well on the family tree. I was like, oh, so that's where that happens. Okay, so that could probably be another series they'll do down the line. So they're supposed to be working on like 3 or 4 different things. They just apparently canned the Corlys Valerian prequel show, which I don't know if anybody would care, but I think they're still working on the Dunk and Egg show. All these things are prequels to Game of Thrones, so it is what it is. So there's that. I'm trying to think, like, because, you know, we got, you'd think this would be like big movie season, and it feels like the only thing that's coming out between now and the end of the year that anybody should give a shit about is Black Panther, right?
Panther. Yeah.
And that's not a segue, because I do have a Black Panther story to talk about, but that's not a segue. I have a much better segue later. But I was just thinking about it, is like, there's no TV out right now that I'm interested in, because everything just kind of wrapped up. After Andor's done, I don't know what the next thing is that I'll give a shit about.
We're waiting for our Disney overlords to tell us.
Yeah, we're waiting for Disney to tell us what we should like. And then after that, it's like DC's got...
No, we're waiting for
Aquaman
Disney to tell us
2.
what we're going to watch, and I'll wait for Instagram to tell me what I'm supposed to like.
There you go. Aquaman 2 is coming eventually, I think, supposedly.
Who cares?
But I don't think, like, between now and the end of the year, like, there's nothing worth a damn. I mean, like, it just feels like it's just like meh. Like,
yeah, I feel like it's kind of quiet.
Yeah, and we talked about Quantumania trailer, didn't we?
I think so.
I feel like we did. Oh, that's probably in the episode that I'm currently editing.
Yeah, I think.
I just haven't gotten that far yet. So I think we did talk about that. Yeah. So I've seen a couple more featurettes kind of about that, and it's just interesting. But I'm still wondering why so many people are pushing this whole Doctor Doom's going to be introduced in Black Panther 2. I was like, that seems like a whole lot more shit they don't need to get into right now, considering the Fantastic Four is still 3 years away.
Yeah, leave him be for where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. I was like, or who did I see that they were trying to, some dumb fan theory was that, what's his name? The other guy, that fucking the American that's in the Black Panther series. What's his name?
American.
Yeah, the guy who played Watson from Sherlock.
Talk about The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit too.
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
But his character, because he's got the same last name as somebody. Oh, it's he's one of the. It's not. Is it Everett Ross?
Not Coulson.
Everett Ross.
Everett Ross. Yeah.
So yeah. So there was a whole like fan theory that he's somehow going to become Doctor Doom. I'm like, that makes no goddamn sense. I was like, we're not going there. Sorry.
That's way off canon base. Like, that's crazy.
So far out there. I mean, like, I think we're basically gonna just fall into like old school normal TV bullshit. Like, Jessica's been watching, it seems like a Freeform / Disney type, sitcom, but it's on Netflix, so it's not owned by them. I don't know where it initially came from, but it's what?
Go ahead. No, you just made me think of something. Go ahead, finish.
Okay, but I'm trying to remember what it was called. Is it One Day at a Time? I think it's called One Day at a Time. It's about this Cuban family, and the dad's gone, but the mom's raising the kids and living with grandma lives with them, and they have a quirky, super
un día en tiempo.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's not a bad show, and the mom is definitely not bad to look at. She's a short, thick Latina woman. So definitely not upset at it. Oh, what the best part is, like, she does get this boyfriend at one point who is like, the dude has got to be like 6'5", and like he's got like the wavy kind of salt and pepper hair with like the good scruffy beard, and he is jacked, and like they literally do like, because they don't necessarily shy away from the slightly more adult stuff. So like at one point, like she goes over to his house because she's like fucking him in secret. Didn't want anybody to know she's got a boyfriend, and like she literally
she didn't want anybody to know she has a white boyfriend.
Well, no, it's just because her and the dad aren't divorced yet, so she was keeping the
whole
new
thing low key.
Yeah, everything low key, and she literally jumps up on the arm of the couch to get face to face with him, and then wraps her legs around his fucking upper torso. I was like, oh, they can literally just fuck standing up at this point. I was like, but it's a decent show. Like, she's a veteran.
One of the few cool about being tall.
Yeah, and so she's a veteran. She was in the army and stuff like that. That's how she and the husband met, and then he stayed in. She got out when she got pregnant, and then they had a couple kids and whatnot. There is some slightly more wokeified stuff in it, but like they don't play too hard into it, because like the daughter is gay, but is like hiding it at first, and then they do the whole thing where dad comes back for her quinces.
Quinceañera.
Well, it's Cuban, so they call it the quinces. And he doesn't know she's gay, and because she hadn't come out to him, and so like they're planning this whole thing, and then like the grandma is making her like a beautiful dress, and then she's like, I don't really want a dress, I want kind of a pantsuit, and I want to wear my Timberlands. No, I'm sorry, Doc Martens, not Timberlands. Either way, so she wants to wear her Doc Martens.
That went over well with their military father, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, he fucking bailed. Like, fucking dick literally bailed on his daughter in the middle of her fucking 15th birthday party.
When he found out she was gay.
Well, he knew she was gay, but he was just sort of dealing with it. But once she actually hit the dance floor in her fucking pantsuit, like, now grandma like fused the dress with the pantsuit, and it actually came out really fucking nice. Like, it still had like all the sequins. She's got the tiara on and stuff, but the pantsuit works. Like, they made it really fucking work. I was like, that actually looks pretty fucking good. So, it is what it is. But the fact that the dad bailed, and as far as I know, because I'm not watching it totally like she did. She blew through the fucking series. As far as I know, he's not come back since. So they were basically playing nice. Obviously, they're getting divorced already, but they're playing nice for the sake of the daughter. It's her birthday, and it was an amicable divorce up until that point. So I mean, it's not a bad show.
Ex-husband?
Say what?
Is he Hispanic? The ex-husband?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if I think he's Puerto Rican. So she's Cuban, he's Puerto Rican. So they keep it in there. And
some good sandwiches. Holy beeswax, I'm back.
And you're loud. Good God. Don't do that.
Sorry.
You're just yelling in our fucking ears, dude. First of all, I love Cuban sandwiches. I could use a good one.
Cubans are amazing. Ricky, please tell me you make a good Cuban.
Of course. And by the way, the real secret is spicy brown mustard, not regular brown mustard.
Yeah, of course. Did you know that Hot Pockets?
A lot of people just use the yellow mustard. But if you do a spicy brown mustard and mix it with mayonnaise, it's the jam.
So basically, you're making Dijonnaise.
No, because it's not Dijonnaise. It's close.
Mustard. It's close.
No, it's not even
similar
close, to Dijonnaise. Is made with wine, dude.
I know. I'm just saying. But what I was getting at, did you know that for a short while, Hot Pockets actually had a Cuban version?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly good. But they never.
I stopped fucking with Hot Pockets when they tried to get fancy with the fancy flavored crusts and all that shit, dude. I like
it. Helped. It didn't taste like cardboard anymore.
Cardboard. That's what I want. I want the cardboard flavored fucking Hot Pockets with the fucking liquid lava cheddar cheese and ham bites in there, and then just pepperoni. It was only pepperoni and ham ones that I fucked with. I didn't fuck with all the other ones.
Fine. All right, so
pretty much, yeah, because everything else tasted like a garbage dump.
All right, so since Rob's back for 2 more minutes, so let's go ahead and get onto our main topic.
He can play catch up too while you keep talking, and don't point it out since I'm doing it secretively because I just did this.
Well, he doesn't have to play as much catch up. We'll just get into the fucking topics while he's here. Oh, should I not talk about it then?
I mean, you do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, trying to do it.
Well, the camera's not coming across very great, but I see the silver disc.
That's the shield.
Right. So while we're all here, there have been major developments, or just shit that happened in the nerddom. And we haven't actually talked about proper like nerd news in a while. We've mostly just been going through our weeks and shit. So we talked about Rings of Power earlier, and we mentioned how like apparently there was some dissatisfaction with it. But apparently the dissatisfaction has gotten so far that they're basically going to replace the showrunners for season 2.
Nice.
Yeah. So apparently because it was not as well received as expected. Yeah,
so all y'all that love that show, you're fucked next season because it's gonna be a whole different squad of people trying to.
I find it hard though because I understand Amazon's basing it on the viewer numbers, but the problem is that the first 2 weeks people were engrossed, and then all of a sudden we got a flood of other content that came up from other providers.
Well, the other thing is they put the biggest and most expensive show on earth up against a show people had been waiting years for.
Game of Thrones.
And it was on purpose. I mean, like, okay, this is the
Bezos thought he was going to do something, but that's dumb.
Yeah. Well, this is the BVS versus Civil War thing all over again. But like, all they had to do was wait a month.
Just wait.
Wait a month, then drop it, and you'll have it all to yourself in the middle of a gap where nothing was coming out. Like Andor would still be better to a degree, but we would be wrapping up Andor and then just have a complete open run for the Rings of Power. So, and while fan reception, definitely the first 3 episodes were like the iffiest, and then after that it just like started fucking rolling. But like apparently like internally and then of course critically, like it's been panned like way too hard, like, and I guess you're right, the viewership dropped, but like once again, yeah, you're up against other shows, and you're putting it out on Friday, which is already a little odd. You know, most of the time when they put shit on Friday, it's the stuff that nobody cares about, right? That's when all the Star Wars series were dropping.
There's a reason why like there's a reason why like Disney Plus was starting to air their new stuff on Wednesdays. They realized
the numbers were bad for Fridays.
Are going to watch. Well, exactly. They're going to be out. They're going to be out and about even during the winter now on Fridays, or more so, people just want to basically veg out on a weekday and sit and basically just tune into something new.
Yeah,
I think they also realized that post-COVID, like all those lockdowns going away, people are wanting to get the fuck back out again. So Friday nights is not the night for sitting at home anyways. They're trying to play catch up for 2 years of lockdowns.
There's a reason that House of the Dragon and even Game of Thrones, and I think HBO is just known for this, their biggest shows always drop at like 9 p.m. on Sunday. Like the adults are up, the kids are in bed, everything's fucking done.
School.
Yeah. So they put the biggest show out at the prime time for adults to watch it by themselves, and their numbers will kill. It's like, so it was just basically a market misunderstanding entirely. You know, it's just like, look, if you drop,
I feel that way, but I also feel like part that it's also like, again, it is competition, but in the same respect, it's also that you're there's kind of like their other shows. Amazon's holders of their media content. Paper Girls is a very good example of that. Why cancel something that just started? Because, and whether or not it's budget or not, who's to say? But why cancel something if you haven't even given an audience to try? Because there's plenty of shows that people will literally rediscover or discover by accident, and then suddenly they get big, but you can't continue it because it was canceled.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, Firefly is a big example. Actually, Firefly
is an excellent example.
Yeah, because it was put out on Friday nights when nobody knew about it. It was aired out of, well, at least on UPN, it was on Friday nights. I don't know, but no, it was on Friday nights, even on Fox. Before, but
I just never understood that
Fox,
one because
Fox has a habit of just chopping everything and not even caring.
Because it wasn't doing bad numbers when they canceled it.
Well, no, it's just it did poor numbers.
It wasn't doing their
general
projected numbers.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's the exact same thing with Amazon. The reception is not what they wanted. The projected numbers weren't what they wanted, but apparently they didn't see what their own market competition was going to be. And yeah, they put out the most expensive and probably one of the best looking TV shows of all time. They put out mini movies every week, but it's like, okay, you were going for a very niche group of people in the first place. and you're putting it out on a day when most people wouldn't be paying attention. Mind you, it's streaming. We don't have to be dependent on time, and it went out at midnight. You didn't have to wait till 9 p.m. to watch it like HBO makes you do, you know?
I feel like they're also not learning the lessons of.
Do you want me to comment on it, Ricky?
Of TV too, where it's like, it looks good, Ricky.
It does
really
look good. It show it better when your camera.
I feel like they haven't learned the network wars game.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't. That Amazon. What's funny because Amazon's been around forever, even as a streaming service, realistically. But like when it comes to their own content, that's when they fuck up.
All right, so you can't comment because this you can see because I had this part covered, so you can see the gray plastic right next to the metallic.
Yes, I see it. It looks nice. Actually, I like the two-tone.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna paint that gold.
Nah, just the two-tone looks good.
Yeah, no.
Because the sword's not gold; it's silver.
You paint yours two-tone.
The sword doesn't have gold in it.
I do what I want to my shit.
Okay.
Silver.
Okay, so I did because we mentioned Amazon. I just remembered something else I watched this week, and it was the latest Grand Tour episodes, the Scandaflick. So basically, they got 4-wheel drive vehicles that had rally heritage. And they're basically trying to drive completely across quote unquote Scandinavia. So it was actually pretty interesting. And that's the one where James May got hurt.
And you made me think of something too while you're talking. So when you finish, remind me.
No, that's fine. That's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to get too far into it, but
you made me think about when you were talking about your wife watching the show. Kara and I, we have our shows while we're eating dinner or whatever when we're together.
Yeah.
Season 2 of Ghosts started back up on Paramount Plus.
Ghosts.
If you have Ghosts, that show is fucking hilarious.
I've seen teasers for it and I want to give it a try, but I'm torn between that and What We Do in the Shadows.
I've never watched What We Do in the Shadows, so I can't speak for that. And Ghost is probably shorter, so I'd give Ghost a shot.
Yeah, it's only 2 seasons. Yeah. Plus, I might like Ghost.
It's not even 2 seasons. It's 1 season and 5 episodes so far into season 2.
Oh, okay. You got into season 2. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, that's all that's out. We're caught up.
I got you.
It's releasing slowly.
I want to check that out because I keep seeing advertisements for it, and I hate it when advertising works. I was like, I want to feel like I'm making my own decisions, but it's like the Matrix. There is no free will. It's all.
But it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like if you get a chance to give it a watch, it's slow at first, but then when it picks up and it hits its stride, it's really good.
Oh, so it's like Andor.
So now you can see the difference there.
Mm-hmm. As you're slowly picking.
Slowly taking.
I'm amazed you don't have humidity issues. Yeah, I mean it is Rust-Oleum, so I guess that's fine.
But it's also Florida in the winter time, so it's
true.
Still hot. It's just not humid.
That's true. So back to Amazon's Lord problems here. So realistically, it is still kind of rumored. Like it isn't 100% confirmed, and they didn't fire the 2 showrunners, the head guys.
Adding people.
Well, no, what they said they're going to basically do is put them back to the writer's room. If anything, they don't want to can them entirely, but they're also apparently newbies. So like they want to put somebody more seasoned, no pun intended, in there to basically kind of just make it smoother, direction a little bit better next season, stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, there were definitely some problems. I'm not going to say it was a perfect series by any means. I mean, I said Dance of the Dragons. House of the Dragon, while it has its issues, is a far more solid show, even though it also is doing the same thing, a book that released quite some time ago, and it's playing with the lore of an established story.
In their defense, all his books released a long fucking time ago because he's a piece of shit, takes forever to write anything.
Yes, but like it's just while Rings of Power was great, I think a lot of people were really pissed that it took so long to Ring of Power. But I mean, it's like all that shit happens over a long amount of time, and they can't technically use, specifically can't technically use the Silmarillion as their basis.
I feel like it's a little bit. It's got a lot of
they don't own the
Andor.
rights.
We're building a world type of thing behind it.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. I mean, it's meant to be. I mean, hell, the story technically even takes place over several thousand years over, till even we get to the.
But
actual Lord of the Rings.
Seriously, it's the Lord of the Rings. If you,
yeah,
if it's the Lord of the Rings, if you didn't burst your bladder trying to watch through the movies to begin with, then maybe you're not made for this show.
Yeah. Well, there was
you
a lot.
Get a UTI trying to watch the Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. Exactly.
For this.
At midnight. By the way, I did go to the midnight showing of Return of the King. We got home at
speaking of UTIs. because this might be the title of this episode.
No, we already
So
got
he already
we got
picked
the
the title while
we
you
got the
weren't
episode
here.
title while you were gone.
Is it
Fair enough.
Panthro on Panther or is it penises?
There you
No,
go.
that's not it, but it's close.
Yeah.
So one of the series you mentioned, Ricky, about you and your wife watching shows together, and just last night, my wife was rewatching a show
My
that
wife?
she watched. Yeah, she watched a show she's watched before called Bridgerton.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if any of
I
you
hate
have
that show.
watched
I hate that
Bridgerton.
show so much.
Never watched it, but I've heard of it.
It's so much.
Yeah,
hold on,
I'm not as big of I'm
let
not that big of
Let
a
me
fan.
let me
either,
put it
but
to you this way, Ricky. It's medieval Grey's Anatomy.
I know what it is. My wife's watching it. That's the one where they do like modern music, but set it to classical and all
Yeah.
that shit.
But you
Yeah,
know,
I know what show he's talking about. My wife watches that shit.
let him talk.
So the joke. This is how the story goes. So I'm putting together lunches for the kids, and my wife is watching this because she's had a rough day. She's watching Bridgerton, and they're talking, and I'm just kind of listening in the background. And they get to the parts of like I burn for you, which is the
Oh, God.
phrase. I burn for you, wife. I burn for you, husband. And I found myself saying accidentally
I'm
the same
burning,
joke I
I'm
said
burning.
6 months ago, which was that's a UTI.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say, Doctor, I burned because of him.
Oh, God.
But okay, do you know why? You know why I made that joke as to why I said it's medieval. It's not even really medieval, but either way, it's medieval Grey's Anatomy because it's a fucking Shondaland project. As soon as I saw that, I was like, God damn it! No wonder
I think
I
that's where
hate
you and I
this.
were talking. Yeah,
I was like,
before.
I flat out told her, I was like, we're watching it, and I was like, the first few episodes is like, okay, it's not bad. First season, it's like, eh, and then I realized, oh, I know why women love this fucking show.
Well,
It's
I was like,
Shondaland.
can y'all please stop heavy breathing while the Vitamin String
And-
Quartet
yeah.
is playing their solemn rendition of a Taylor Swift song?
Exactly. God damn, the show is terrible. It's just like it's like everything else made by Shonda Rhimes. It's fucking terrible. I hate it. Ricky and I have ranted, or at least he's heard me rant repeatedly about Grey's Anatomy and how fucking.
Oh, I was
bad it
with
is.
you on that rant.
Yeah, I know, but I think I've ranted about it more than you have. Ultimately, I've ranted about it on my own channel. Outside of this, I hate everything that woman makes. I hate all of it. It's so fucking bad. And then you get sucked in, you start enjoying it, and then you realize, oh, this is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen on TV in my life. And you can't.
I'm not
you
supposed to like this.
And then you go, yeah, exactly. And then you go in the other room and you flagellate yourself because you hate everything that you just watched, and you want to burn.
Exactly.
It's like I need to go like build something in the garage because I need my manliness card back because I just got way too much feminism in my life. But like the other thing I thought about that show, I was like, the show's called Bridgerton, right? And I felt like it took a long time to Bridgerton.
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
It's like
Took a
this
long
isn't
time
about
to find
anyone
really
named
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. Like where does Bridgerton come into the show Bridgerton? It's like, oh, like 7 seasons in, we're like, oh, Lord Bridgerton. Oh, this is the motherfucker the show's named after? Why have we been following someone
exactly.
else this entire time? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
legit, there's a solid like
It's a long
not to
time.
compare it to like Game of Thrones levels of, we're getting it on, but there's a lot of that to basically just try to pull in people.
I don't even understand what
like-
the show was about. And then,
Yeah.
like, okay, so mind you, I don't watch her shows because I'm usually in here while she's Netflixing. And like, I'll come in, I'll work on whatever, I'll edit, I'll be here with you guys, whatever. And then I'll come out there and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? I was like, oh, it's another season of what?
Yeah. If you want
Same
a better
show.
show than Bridgerton, go watch Poldark. Seriously.
If you want a better show than
You're a
anything,
Poldark.
like, is there a House equivalent for Bridgerton? Like House is so much better than Grey's
Yeah,
Anatomy.
Sherlock
It's not
Holmes.
funny. No, because you have Sherlock. No, because Sherlock has Elementary as its shit version. So like, is there a House of Bridgerton? Is it Downton Abbey? So
It would be Downton Abbey,
it's like
technically.
it's probably
But
Downton
Downton
Abbey.
Abbey is so much more classy.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Seriously.
Bridgerton's not meant to be
but
classy.
it is, yeah.
Once again,
Yeah.
Shondaland.
Shondaland.
Fucking hate it. Okay, so speaking of people getting replaced, we will have a new Witcher coming up. So season 3 of The Witcher is dropping next season, and it's the last season of Henry Cavill. Good old Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher,
Yeah, 'cause
and
he's going back to
everybody,
Superman.
and you spoiled that slightly. I was getting there, but I was gonna say everybody's getting their panties in a wad because of who they're switching him for. The lesser Hemsworth.
Mhm.
Although that would be
toss
weird.
a latte to your Witcher. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously,
exactly.
that's how I feel.
No,
about it.
that's the guy that was in the Mockingjay movies, right?
Yeah, he was the one who was in the the Hunger Games. Yes, so
He's the
Liam.
other Hemsworth.
Liam.
That's how we refer to him.
But the thing is, like, I mean, he's roughly the same size as Chris, if not taller. So I mean, he can get built for this, and for the most part, that's not that difficult. He doesn't have to be
he
like.
comes from good genetics. I think he can
all
actually
of the
do the job.
Hemsworths are. Yeah, who's calling me right now? Oh, it's my best friend, Scam Likely.
I'm
Okay.
already on here. Aw.
Yeah. No, it's my best friend Scam. So
He
either
didn't
way,
say I wasn't his best friend. Y'all heard me.
Ricky, you are definitely a guy I know in Florida.
Aw.
So
I
either
feel
way,
so loved.
yes. So like, I love how we're talking shit about the future season of The Witcher and not worried at all about the season that's coming. It's like, can we make sure the season 3 is worth the damn?
Season 1 and 2 were really good.
Yeah.
3, I'm assuming, is going to stay good. 4, my biggest problem, and I talked about this, I think we might have talked about it on RHP, or it was just in one of the hangouts I was on over the weekend. We were talking about it. Is how they're going to handle that, because it has to stay Geralt, because he's the main character in the whole entire Witcher series. But how are you going to handle the complete and utter, like, lack of looking anything like each other, other than the fact that they're both white? Like, there's nothing about them that looks alike.
Wait, they're both white
at all. Anyways, so they can slap more, pancake makeup on him and make him whiter.
So
that's pretty much it.
I think the main way they'll handle this is either one, by some type of magic spell that makes him look different, or they're not going to acknowledge it at all.
Prequel. They'll do a.
He's going to regenerate like the Doctor.
Yeah.
They can say
oh
he's
God,
younger.
that's something
what
you
if they
didn't
make
talk
a girl
about.
Witcher? Ha ha.
Yeah. Well, technically, that's what she turns into eventually. But either way, I think ultimately the reason I write this off is because if you go through the games, like as the generation evolves, like from different PlayStation to different PlayStation, Geralt looks roughly the same, but like you can't say game 1 looks like game 3. It's like,
well, that's just graphical design.
I know,
but
that's the write-off.
Long white hair.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my write-off as to how they don't even have to acknowledge that it's going to be played by a different actor.
So the beginning of season 4, the opening is going to be coming soon to PS5 with real mocap,
exactly,
visuals.
So
and then it'll cut to the new Witcher.
So here's my thing about it though. Don't acknowledge it. Just fucking roll with it. Or give it a weird acknowledgement, like
say just defined every show we should actually be watching.
But then also, I mean, is it really that hard to find somebody else who can go, and fuck?
I'm not talking about the acting capabilities. I'm talking about the look of the character.
I mean, we'll have to wait till we see Liam in the full outfit, but basically he's just going to look like Thor to a degree. I mean, Henry Cavill Superman doesn't really look like Geralt. So, I mean, like, everybody thought that was a joke at first. And then he
looks completely different, but he also like gives everything into that role. I read a couple of articles
and
on that.
Liam's a good actor, so that's not a problem. It's just, he hasn't had a role like this. So it's just going to be weird, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, like, just keep everything else about the show good, or change every actor and really throw it for a loop.
But on the plus side, Comic Cons will be real interesting if you have a set of twins. One can go as Thor and the other can go as Geralt.
There you go.
Twinsies. And they get fist bump and they'll be like,
and then
form of God of Thunder. And the other one could be like, power of a Witcher.
No, then you have the Witcher slay Thor and take his fucking hammer.
Yeah.
Or actually,
you're not worthy, bitch. You're not worthy.
No, what would be great is in the show if they do have an in joke where he's like, I don't know, at a forge or something, and he picks up a hammer and just kind of looks at it, and then just sets it down, like as Geralt.
That'd be hilarious.
As Geralt, like they don't even think about it. Or somebody asks for the hammer and he throws it to him. It's like we're just like, here you go. Like, don't, just a slight nod because he's going to be so Thor-like at that point. Well, the question is, could he go with the shorter haircut or not? Because does Geralt's hair stay really long or no? through the games? Does he ever cut it down a bit?
He always has long hair in the games that I remember.
Well, I mean, like long, or because it always feels like he's got it tied.
Always
back.
has like shoulder length hair.
Yeah. So I mean, he can.
He's a hippie.
Yeah. So I think it's not as big a deal, but like I saw some stuff about like originally Henry Cavill basically, as you broke the news, he's going back to playing Superman, even though I think we talked about that last week briefly. But
which I know that there's a little bit of flack on the fact that there are a lot of people that don't like Man of Steel.
And they're wrong.
Okay, now hold on. I'm not talking BVS. I'm not talking Justice League. I'm talking Man of Steel.
Yes,
that's the one I'm talking about. I loved all the way up to the end.
Yeah, the end is.
I honestly, and this is my take. My hot take is that I absolutely love that movie, and it's because there is a certain point where Cavill looks up and he's like,
somebody's getting a face
pressed up against the gravity well, and he looks up and he has that Christopher Reeve look in his eye. That I was like, yeah.
Well,
that's
you
him.
mean the
that's
moment
Superman
where
right there. That is playing to it.
Do you mean that one actual frame that they switched it for Christopher Reeve?
No, I think it was just
that.
more like there was so many nods to the original that they actually put in that you don't kind of pick up until you start watching it as many times as I have. But
yeah,
it is one of those things like I really enjoyed it as a I want to say a reboot, but we'll call it a redo of or just continuing that legacy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, he definitely fits the role. It's hard to see it without him or as a different actor.
Well, like the new guy who played Superman on Supergirl and now of course with Superman and Lois, he's okay, but like he doesn't have the Cavillness.
Correct.
You know, and it's something like even Brandon Routh, when he played him, it was kind of there, like it was close, but that was definitely a cheesier Superman. Yes. You know, to a degree. Well, I like Superman Returns.
Routh was. I gotta give props to Brandon Routh. He really did embrace that.
He did.
What was supposed to be a sequel
to Superman
the originals.
2. Yeah, this is basically Superman 3, but not
right.
Yeah, and I love that movie. I still like that movie. You know, I saw it in theaters. But like I
love minus the baby part.
Yeah, well, I mean,
minus
like
the baby part,
I was okay with that too because it still makes sense.
Doesn't make sense. His jizz would have blown the top of her head off.
Well, I mean, we know that she did fuck him, so yeah, it's possible.
But just not to completion.
It's a
top
thing.
Of her head off.
That you know of. I mean, if they went to the part that they're even in the physical act, I'm sure he could hold back. It's not Hitchcock.
You're a guy.
It's not
you're
Hitchcock.
Technically, you just ruined all of the CW
Think
series.
about that moment when you're about to blow your load, pop in your O face, and tell me how much control you have over that exact split second.
Yeah,
now imagine you had the power to blow somebody's head off with it.
Exactly, but I'm not Clark Kent trying to literally not kill anyone and everyone with just his basic movements. So, it's like, remember his whole speech to Darkseid in...
Yeah, I know. He has to hold back everything. Blah, blah, blah.
Like I live in a world of cardboard.
Make up all the excuses you need, Superman fans. Batman kicks his ass constantly.
Whatever. But either way, I think that under the direction of James Gunn, who has just been named head of the DC, not EU, for the future. By the way, that's a segue, y'all. Ricky's not.
This is their replacement for Zack Snyder.
See, Ricky's not on his game anymore. He doesn't call out the segues.
I mean, Gunn is.
I do. I just let him go.
There.
But that's
Peacemaker was very good. Let's see what he can do.
I think that,
but that's
and
Peacemaker's not Snyderverse stuff. So that's the problem.
It's edge of Snyderverse.
He's gonna make more of the. He's making that tweener. It's not dark and gritty like Snyderverse, and it's not Thor 4 and how many ever years ago Bobby always says.
I think my comment was I'd like to see it. I think I'd like to see it succeed.
Yeah, I'd
like to see it succeed, but I also don't want 50 curses per minute.
Well,
I would have liked to have seen the Snyderverse survive because that's the one thing about DC is it's very dark and gritty. It's not happy, jokey like
it used to be, but now it's dark and gritty. I mean, we had the happy, jokey type of DC. But then in modern era, it's definitely far more dark, probably because Batman went that way and therefore Superman went that way. Therefore, everything went that way. I mean, even look at Wonder Woman. That movie was dark as fuck eventually after they got off the mascara, which I guess was part of the theme of that movie. Anyways, but I think that like Rob makes a good point, at least about 50 curses per minute or whatever. But that's with the bad guys. We haven't seen him do a good guy DC movie. We've only seen him do.
Peacemaker's technically a good guy.
Well, he's an anti-hero at best. Anybody who's a part of Task Force,
right?
Yeah, everybody who's on Task Force.
He does very good anti-heroes. Look at
yeah.
Well,
I mean, Suicide Squad was essentially Guardians of the Galaxy, but with a shark man instead of a tree man.
Right.
And that movie is phenomenal. Like, that movie is fucking fantastic. And then Peacemaker ended up, being very cheesy, was still a really great show. It understood what it was. I think the problem with a lot of these things is they forget what they are and try to be something other than they aren't and end up jacking it up in the interim.
Okay, so I just thought of a litmus test.
Uh-oh.
And this just requires a yes or no from either of you. James Gunn trying to reboot a Green Lantern.
Yes.
No.
See?
Green Lantern's way more of a serious character now.
Well,
no
see,
way.
that's
if he did a Guy Gardner Green Lantern, I'd be behind that. But if you're talking not Guy Gardner,
I can't believe you said Guy Gardner.
Fuckface with the bowl cut.
The other one?
The redhead. No, there's a bunch of them. The redheaded one, the old one.
That wasn't Guy? No,
Guy was the red. Guy Gardner's the redheaded one.
No, Guy Gardner's the new one.
No.
Hal Jordan's the new one. Fuck, I was right. Sorry, I was trying to do too many things at one time. Hal Jordan, no. Guy Gardner, absolutely yes, because Guy Gardner falls into that smart ass, jokey, kind of hipstery type vibe that he does good with, like the Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff. So I think him doing a Guy Gardner Green Lantern would be good. Him trying to do a Hal Jordan, Brightest Day, Darkest Night, and the multicolors of the Rainbow Ring Squad. No way. Way too out of.
Well, here's the thing: is he's not in charge of doing every movie. He's just the Kevin Feige of DC. So he'll probably still direct and stuff, but basically he's just gonna Feige this bitch. They remember we talked about this. They a lot of these people
like
they need somebody at the top keeping the storylines straight and who's doing what. And I don't need James Gunn
from good directors. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't need James Gunn to do every movie. And that's, I think, where people are getting lost. And yeah, he's not going to have to make every movie. He's just going to be
Kevin
in charge.
Feige. He's not going to be the Russo brothers.
Yeah. He's not going to be the Russos. And don't get me wrong, the Russos both did good at the top and when they were just straight up directing. So when they had their section that they were in charge of, most of those movies are amazing. And James Gunn.
That's also called an outlier because nobody else was able to do it besides him.
Yeah. Well, other than Favreau.
At the very beginning.
No, his first two were good. Iron Man 2 was good.
At the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, I think
that was also pre all the MCU and interlocking.
It had not been a U yet. It wasn't a U. Yeah. So I think that having someone like that is good, but like the article that I shared here was actually where people were like, well, are you going to have a rivalry since you worked for Marvel? DC and Marvel now going to be. It's like, dude,
he's already been doing that.
Yeah, he's already been doing it.
He's already directed 2 DC things and has worked on Marvel before and worked on Marvel since. They're dumb.
So, I mean, like, people want the rivalry there because it's in the comics. And, yeah, there's an overall rivalry.
But it's not even really in the comics. Well, a lot of those famous artists, Jim Lee bounced back and forth.
Between the comics, like DC versus Marvel itself, not.
Yeah, but the artists and stuff always bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
It's always
it's not on the individual creator. It's on the company. Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. So, like, yeah, he doesn't have any beef with Marvel, although he should have. Marvel wasn't the problem. It was Disney that fired him, not Marvel, technically speaking. So, under that blanket thing, I'm sure it wasn't Kevin Feige who said, "Get the fuck out of here, you pervert," or whatever.
Probably some PR.
Yeah, it's dipshits at the top.
I also find it quite funny that there's so many comparisons between like Marvel versus DC and like WWE versus AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feels like a little bit of the same.
Yeah, it really is. It's the same shit, different writer. Different blanket.
They just go where the money is, man. They're artists too, trying to feed their kids. And
too
families,
true.
So they go where that money's at.
I just thought of a really dumb analogy for that. Thinking in little kids' terms, you always had you know, whatever
sharks versus
superheroes or whatever on your underoos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, same shit, different underwear.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's where I went. Yep. Well, we got to
Okay,
have some
Dingleberry.
there's got to be some type of shit talk in the show.
Womp womp.
Yeah. So speaking of
He wasn't letting that shit go.
No, speaking of Marvel and shit talk. See,
Mm.
I told you I reordered this to segue the fuck into everything.
This wasn't even a good segue.
Love
This is trash.
Okay, so
Trash that article is.
So, and I want to ask you guys something straight up. Really,
You don't have to make a hypothetical.
This movie's
We've
really,
already been through
really.
this with Captain Marvel.
Did we?
Yeah.
What?
Although what's her face saying that it should have been only for such and such type of people and not for the
but
upper middle class white people.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just coming from a black person's mouth instead of a white person's this time.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, well, you ruined what I was going to go for. Anyways, I was going to say what a Top Gun Maverick had come out and they said only white people, because this movie's really important for white people.
Only white people should go only on opening weekend is what they say.
Yeah.
In the article.
Well, and you said black people, so this and it's making the rounds on social media and stuff like that.
Ridiculous.
And it was a
Internet, you can go home now.
I don't even know the name of the
Internet,
person.
You're drunk.
I don't know the name of the TikToker who said this in the first place, but basically they said white
$20 says it was Brie Larson.
It was not. It was Brie Larson's not black.
No, it's some doof who thinks he has an actual platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, TikTok, unfortunately,
checks those boxes.
Well, she tried YouTube. I was subscribed to Brie Larson's channel. I'm not gonna lie. It was entertaining.
Yeah, but you watched it on mute. It's not the same thing.
No, it was entertaining for a while, and then it got real dumb, real fast. Either way, but on this point, basically, they said that white people should not attend Black Panther opening weekend. 2, if they have tickets to the movie, they should just give it to a black family so they can watch it, and that they should basically stand guard outside the movie theater to make sure no shit goes down.
And if they do go see it opening weekend, they are anti-black.
They're anti-black. If they go, it's like
that's the kicker. That's the kicker to me. So I'm a white male. I go spend money in support of a movie that is 95% African American or just straight up Africans. About a fake African
it's going to be offset
but,
now. It's going to be offset now because we have South Americans.
Well, I'm saying it's predominant.
Yes.
And okay, so let's say minorities. It's definite a minority based movie. Sure. It's targeted towards that audience and giving them a superhero and a voice. I get all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I spend money to go see it, and that means I don't support them. That is the stupidest fucking shit I can ever heard in my life, because I guarantee you millions of dollars to donuts ain't no KKK fucking new Fourth Reich fucking skinheads buying tickets to go see this movie, because they will not support it by going to see it. So if their idea of not buying tickets means that they're not supporting it because they don't believe in what it's representing, you're telling me I should act like them, but it means I'm supporting it in what it's supposed to be representing? That is the stupidest fucking argument I've ever heard in my entire goddamn life.
Yeah, everything about the statement this person made, and then all of the people agreeing with it.
That person should get the whole weight of the internet thrown at them and get them kicked the fuck off of TikTok, Boom Blam, or wherever the fuck they're running their mouths at.
It just feels like they're trying to get attention.
Well, here's the thing: is that there are that's 100% true, but like, I get it. There's racial tensions. There's always been racial tensions. Period. Like, doesn't matter.
The beginning of the book was for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is like, I'll just say this: Black Panther is not just a hero for black people. Because if it was, I wouldn't pay attention to it, because it would mean he was never meant for me and wasn't written good enough for me to watch or read. So therefore, I wouldn't do it because he's a black hero. It's like, especially in this movie, I was like, do you think?
By the way, a black hero created by 2 white Jewish guys.
Exactly.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just like, it's a hero to everyone. Yeah, you want to say it's like, oh, black pride, all this, whatever stupid nonsense. It's like
it doesn't
I don't
need
think that's
to be
the stupid
that
nonsense part.
That is actually the stupid nonsense.
Saying black pride is fine, but saying that only black people can watch it because it's for black people, that's fucked up.
Yeah, well, that's where I was getting at it, because like there's the basis level of having pride in your nationality, religion, whatever. But then there's the radical stupidness that too many people, regardless of what side, what color, whatever you want to say, go off on the deep end. And I'm just going to say it. This concept is just racism, with not even with more steps. This is literally just blatant racism.
Yeah, it's
And
reverse racism.
And the whole point
Agreed.
of this, well, yeah, but reverse racism is just racism. Not even with more steps. It's just anti-racism is actually racism, no matter what they say.
I think we can just all agree, get yourself a puppers, whoever you are.
Yeah. Well, Canadians definitely shouldn't see this movie.
Or two.
They'll hate it. But it's just, I was so pissed when I saw this. I'm like, first, it's like, fine. If you want to just express an opinion and just say, look, black, this is a really important character for black people, whatever. It's like, cool. Like, that's fine. But then demanding that white people, one, either not go, which, okay, fine, or buy tickets for other people because they can't afford them, which I'm like, would they go to the theater anyways if they couldn't afford the tickets? And then I think is like, okay, this goes back to where I had an argument with a friend of mine who's not around anymore, where it was it's a little bit of chunk of CRT in there, where basically you treat black people as though they can't afford things, or they don't understand things, or they don't have availability for things. I'm like, so wait, technically speaking, if I were to go buy movie tickets for a family that I think can't afford them, that doesn't make me racist, right?
It's just generally offensive. Why?
Why? Exactly. That's my
general
point on
offensiveness.
That. And we try not to take on major topics here on this channel, or if we do, we don't release those episodes. But this one was just so goddamn
it just doesn't
dumb.
make any sense.
Also, they eliminated the largest amount of money they would make. Let's be honest here. If they actually, and I hate to say it, but it's just percentages. Yeah, it's fine. With the percentages, I didn't realize what time it was. Good call. By sheer percentage, there are more white people. So to tell the largest majority of people who would go see this movie to not go see the movie on opening weekend actually would hurt the movie. So you wouldn't actually be helping things out and being black pro movie, whatever.
You wouldn't be pushing for a part 3 if they lose a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be stupid. And I mean, like, this movie,
I will say for a brief moment that I get, like, there's you can have your arguments about inclusivity of superheroes or creation of superheroes, but make your superheroes what you want them to be. It doesn't have to be something that you're trying to impulsively get out to people as a statement of ethnicities. Make your superheroes what you want them to be. We've had so many, but there is always room for more. They may seem cookie cutter, but there's always room for more. This is why there's new characters being created every day. Like, there was one that they just made an action figure for, like, called La Boruga. She's a Puerto Rican superhero. Yeah. There are all forms.
And you know what? Now I feel like an idiot considering this topic, but it works here. So speaking of new black characters being invented, something I left out of my week, even though I had it written down, I didn't read it off my list. When talking about comics, I forgot to mention I got in ISOM #1 from the Rippaverse.
That one you were talking about.
Yeah. So a new black superhero invented by a black man who wanted to make his own comics because he thought that the comic book / comic movie industry is fucked up in a bunch of ways. So he wanted to create his own character. I was like, so that kind of fits in. Well, a lot of people say, if you don't like the way it's done, make your own. And he did.
Make your own. Because Marvel's been around for 60 plus years.
Yeah.
All the characters that were created during that era were, waiting for the word.
I don't know where you were going. True. I don't know where you were going with that.
I mean, so you're right. Like, iconic. Make new ones.
Yeah, make new ones. And I mean, like, and don't just retread other people's shit. But in this case,
that conversation. I don't need a black Superman. Don't change Superman black. If you want a black superhero that has Superman's powers, fine, make him.
They did it.
Give him a story, and we will all like and enjoy that as long as it is a good story. Because I don't go to a comic shop and look at it and go, oh, there's a black guy on the cover. I'm out. No,
Well,
I don't
they
do
did.
that shit.
They made Black Superman. It was just a different. It wasn't
Well,
Kal-El.
Steel's a completely
No, no,
different
no, no,
animal,
no,
but
not
Steel
Steel.
is
He's
pretty
talking
awesome.
about from a multiverse aspect.
Oh,
which is
I know the
fuck-
one you're
it's
talking
a
about. Yes,
pedantic
you're
Yeah.
right.
fuck- It's a pedantic fucking
It
argument. I'm not
It
saying-
wasn't
I mean,
Kal-El, but you know.
I mean, literally a whole new character that has nothing to do with Superman, just has Superman's powers. You create that, make a backstory, make a character, and then start putting out good comics, and I'll buy them.
or a movie. Or a
Dude,
movie.
Let me tell you how many Ninja Turtle comics I bought, which were green skinned fucking mutated turtles based on Japanese characters. So really, when I tell you skin color and all that shit means fucking nothing to me, it doesn't matter as long as the comic's good. I don't give a fuck.
See, Ricky doesn't see color
Nope.
because he
I
bought
see
the
all the
original
colors.
Eastman and Laird.
That's not true. I do see color. I see all the colors, and I think they're all wonderful, and I think they all do what they're supposed to do, and they're great for what they are, because without color, this world would be a monotone shit. And I think people who say, I don't see in color should rethink that
Colorblind.
statement.
Got to be colorblind.
Yeah, that's a physical
Well,
impairment that
well,
you have
no,
no
just-
choice
No,
over.
no. Actually, here's
Just
the
enjoying it.
here's the funny part. To be colorblind the way most people mean it actually means you accept all colors.
Yeah.
People take it as being colorblind as you don't want to see the colors. It's like, no.
Right.
It's like, I mean that I don't see people for their color and their color only. And this was an argument I actually had with that same friend I was just talking about.
No,
But-
all colors are
Like-
good, because the world would be boring, black and white, monotone trash if it wasn't. And I think that is not the world I want to live in.
I mean, the future.
I'm looking out.
The future
I'm
is
looking out my
mulatto.
back porch. I'm looking out the back porch of my house right now, and I'm seeing at least 50 different colors and 30 different shades of those colors. I wouldn't want this just to be black, white, and gray. That would be horrible.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play the what if game here just for fun, because what if the next, I was almost gonna say Captain America, but no, that doesn't work.
It already happened.
Yeah, it already
Same
happened.
also.
But I was gonna say, like, whatever the next big white superhero is, the next movie, say we'll go with Ant-Man.
Homelander.
We'll go. Well, yeah, there we go. Well, like the next Ant-Man, we'll just say this. So since primarily, except for the bad guy, technically is the only black character in the new Ant-Man movie. What if we just said that no black people should go see Ant-Man the opening weekend for the same reason?
Technically, that's a color change, because in the comics he was fucking blue.
No, he's
like an
blue.
alien from the
He's
future.
blue due to his helmet in this. So.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And not that I care that is a thing, but it's so stupid. It's like, and I'm so fucking
Could you
tired of
imagine
this.
how fast the world would be set on if we said that shit?
I know.
I see where you were going.
Yeah,
and
look
I
at how
preemptively
bad
gonna
it would
joke
be.
across it,
Look how
but
bad.
Imagine the optics on that.
Yeah, it
This
would
guy
be
could
on
say
every
this
news
statement, or
station.
this lady, whoever wrote this, said this.
Yeah,
It's in the internet. Everybody's seen it. I would pay
but
good
it's not news.
green money to go find that original thing and read some of the comments and see how many ignorant ass people agree with what this person is saying.
Probably a
And
lot.
hear what their
Unfortunately,
argument is, because it makes zero fucking sense. It's not black empowerment. If anything, that whole entire article takes away power from black people, because you're saying one, this movie is only for us, so nobody else can go see it, and we're gonna make it fail because we're taking away income from it. Two, the only way you can afford to see it is if that white guy who can't go can buy you a ticket to go see the damn movie. So I mean, like, it's ridiculous. The whole entire thought process in this. If I was black, I would be insulted as fuck by at least 3/4 of this article.
yeah, I agree with that person on that, on everything you just said. The other thing I was thinking about is, like, when they said to stand outside and guard the theater in case someone wanted to do something stupid. I was like, who would be coming in to do anything stupid? Nobody shot up Black Panther 1 movies. Like,
and more importantly, there's the it's not said, but it's implied that the people who would be causing the issue would be the white people who aren't allowed to go see the movie. But then you want the white people to stand out there and guard against the white people that you aren't allowed. That is some ignorant. That's what I'm saying. That's so many levels.
Everything
of
about
ignorant.
it is so fucked, and they don't care because that's the way they want it to be. And I'm like, if it's that big a deal,
they're probably getting all kinds of kudos and good for you for saying that.
No, the bad part will be when a theater actually does this.
Tries it.
There will be one. I guarantee you it will happen where they'll be like, sorry, black only.
Not on opening weekend. And
No,
they'll never say that. They'll never say that.
You will see that there will be like a theater that says there will be the black screenings over here and the white screenings over there. We will see this.
I don't care what
and
crazy world we live in.
And it will happen
This
in
world
California.
Ugh.
Watch. It will
I don't know
happen
if they'll
in California.
do a black here and a white there. It'll be
That's
more,
what they're calling, but essentially it's
but,
what they're
what I'm
calling
saying is
for.
they'll sell it differently. They'll be like, we're doing an African pride showing at
Which
this
is
theater
still
at this
racist.
time. I understand it's pedantic, but it's different than going black people over there, white people over there.
Okay.
That is a huge difference.
Well, here's the fucked up part about that. What if Elon Musk wants to go see it?
I can't.
Yeah. So because he's white, they wouldn't let him in, but he's actually African. So what do they do?
Yep.
You know, it's like, okay, so that's when they say, okay, only blacks can go see it. So they're making it literally about skin. Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, when they're making it about the skin color, not even heritage, because they're not saying African descendants specifically or people directly from Africa. No, it's only good for black people. All white people banned. I'm like, you know, there's a huge population of white people and brown, huge population
brown
and just brown people, like in general. And also, this movie stars one of the other superhero in the movie is a Hispanic dude. He's like, okay, so you're gonna eliminate the blue people. Obviously, there's no blue people to exclude or include.
Latin American.
Whichever.
We've had this conversation. There is a difference.
Is there?
Yes, Hispanic is from Spain. Latin America is people descendant from Spain mixed in with other places.
Yeah, here in Texas, it's all the same.
It's not the same.
Yes, like I said, here in Texas, it is because we're basically South America.
Y'all got the barbecue right. You got that wrong.
We got better. We got tacos. We count. But either way, like it's just the whole point. You know, you have other people in this movie that are going to be involved. Like there's actually probably significantly more white people in this one than there were in the first one, you know, and they're all going to be bad guys with the exception of Everett Ross. So we'll see what happens.
He'll be a bad guy somehow because he'll be.
Well, he's going to be Doom. We already covered this. He's going to be Doom somehow.
He's a white cop, so that's coming soon.
Well, he works with Wakanda specifically now, so I don't know because he was CIA or FBI before, so now he's whatever. Well, he's American. That's already the problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an American white guy.
Actually, the jokes about being the white guy. You know, like,
they were actually pretty funny.
Well, yeah, when it was like, how many broken white boys do I have to fix? Personally, that's a great joke. Funny, like, that was a great joke.
They handled the racism aspect and number one, fine. I didn't feel uncomfortable being a white guy watching the movie. My mixed children weren't uncomfortable watching the movie, and my wife, who is about so white she's fucking translucent, didn't have a problem watching this movie.
But did you watch it in a theater of nothing but black people?
No. Yeah. It was a mix.
So if you were the only
that's what I'm saying, that's
white
what I was
dude,
trying to get to, is the first one handled it properly. This one, if anybody listens to that bullshit that person's coming off with, it's nuts. Let me tell you who also used to think shit like that. Hitler. Please feel free to go look up how Hitler thought everybody should be treated and separated by everything, and read that article and tell me that doesn't sound like some fucking Nazi propaganda.
You mean the entire book? That's not even an article. Like that's an entire fucking book.
That's
I think it's called Mein Kampf.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Hitler's. No, I'm talking about his overall propaganda.
No, I know. Like, the separation by everything. That's why no one was as equal as the Aryan race at that point. Everyone was lesser. Which, by the way, is
still the funniest shit ever. The perfect Aryan is 6'3", blonde-haired and blue-eyed, being preached to you by a man who was 5'8", brown-haired and brown-eyed. Nobody fucking caught on to that shit.
Yeah, he wanted the Swedes. He wanted the Sweden to take over.
Yeah, I always thought that shit was funny. So I'm like, how did y'all miss that?
My people.
It seems so blatantly obvious.
Yes. So either way, but this whole thing pissed me off. I was just like, look, this is something that's supposed to be for everyone.
Not even pissed me off. It kind of hurt my feelings. Like, do we really live in a day and age where people think that that's proper? I thought that's the type of shit we're fighting back against. That's the shit we're trying to get away from.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of it. And Mike and I talked about this with you a long time ago. It's like, look, we grew up us here, we're all roughly the same age bracket. We grew up in a world that if we heard this shit, like, oh hey, you can't go to a movie because you're white, would have been like, the fuck are you talking about? Like that makes no sense. Like, but we live in a world where racism is now heading towards mainstream, and they're using racism to combat racism that actually doesn't exist.
But that's the thing is, more importantly, our age bracket, when we were growing up, hanging out with our friends, if somebody had said, you can't go in here because you're black, I'd have been fighting them people for saying that for my friends. Like with my friends, I'd have been fighting somebody like that.
Let
That's the world I
alone.
grew up in, and all of a sudden it flipped around back to where, like, I feel like we're back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
and it's just flipped the other direction.
Well, the
I'm
other
like,
thing
that's
is,
still a step backwards, regardless of how you look at it. It's still a step backwards.
see, the other way I look at it is like it's the wrong side of the tracks argument. It's the, hey, you're white, you don't go over to that neighborhood discussion. It's like I know they wanted it to be like white people should serve black people in this moment because this is for us, but then it also comes down to like the few times that white people are told not to go to black places is not for good reasons. You know.
Let me ask you how this guy in this article, or lady in this article, I don't remember who wrote it. How do they feel with blended families? Let's say you have a black father with a white wife and their children are biracial. Which ones of those family members
who gets to go?
That movie?
Who gets to go?
But they're half white. So are
the
they
dad
allowed to see
the dad
first
have
half
to
of the
stay
movie? Are they allowed to see the last half of the movie? Do they have to stand halfway inside and out? Do they have to cover one eye the whole entire movie? How does that work when you get into those levels? When you say shit like that, it gets fucking crazy, man.
The dad would have to stay outside. The dad would stay. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, which way? Which one was white?
Other way.
I didn't know which one was arguing with. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning. Okay, so the mom would have to stay outside.
Mom's white.
Oh, she might actually be okay with staying outside and not have to deal with them kids.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it gets ridiculous. Like that, you can get to a stupid extreme.
Also,
it's just so dumb.
So everything about that argument is dumb. But I'm going to give you an even dumber argument real quick before we wrap this up. I think the movie's incredibly racist for flooding Wakanda, and I'm going to leave it at that.
But the Mexicans flooded it. So
I know. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. That's even worse. The Mexicans who have no problem swimming flood Wakanda. That's fucked up.
Now that's racist.
Everything about that is racist. Whoever wrote this is racist as fuck, and they wanted to just subvert everything. That's so fun. I'm from Texas. I can say that.
Fucked up shit.
I'm using that as my argument twice today. I'm from Texas. I can say
God,
that.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Okay, that was a purposeful. That was a purposeless racist argument. That's why I said it has nothing to do with reality. But if you think about it,
to bounce, so we got to wrap.
Yeah, that's why we're wrapping it up. We're doing promos here. So either way, let us know if you think that is an absolutely ridiculous argument in this day and age. And
I'm gonna link the article so people can see it.
All of the things will be linked down below, as usual. I'll put all the billions of links, and I'll have a week to completely forget about all that. But of course, you can follow us at all the things. All my SHOKY links are down below. Please go subscribe to things if you want to. And of course, we have merch as well. Then you can go follow Rikki's work at the I almost said Nerd Rage Project. I was like, no, I combined your two things. Nerd Rage Radio promos that he does on Facebook, along with the Rome Hatton Project on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. I had to correct myself because I wanted to say 8 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9
Keep
o'clock.
It classy. San Diego.
Go fuck yourself. And then, of course, Rob exists in the internet somewhere.
I'm everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah, Rob exists to serve his children here in the next 35 minutes. It's like you had your overlords of work, and then you just have to respond to the children after this. Yay. Awkward ending. Either way. And then there's Mike.
Now you made it awkward, motherfucker.
It's been a while since we straight up did that. And then of course Mike and all his stuff at Comic Relief Crusader. And yeah. So there we go. And we'll see you guys next week.
I think Mike just shows up like once every 2 or 3 months just to keep his links alive.
It's a quarter. He's once a quarter. It's this quarterly check-in. Hopefully he'll come back soon.
It's time for me to check in so that they still promote my links.
Yes. So, all right, guys. Okay, bye.
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 I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.